Oh, hang on. This hasn't started recording. Shit. Right, I've just started recording it now.
There you go.
Problem. So
No,
I've been doing
the Zoom stuff. Yeah.
I've been doing a 10-day cycle, Bruce, if that doesn't sound rude.
wow.
So basically, shave my head and chin, and then leave it 10 days, and then shave it again. So by the end of the 10 days, I am starting to get a beard. This is only about day one at the moment. I'd shaved yesterday. So
What's the point of the 10-day cycle? Is
Yeah,
it just because
what's
you
the 10
can't be
days
arsed
about?
shaving?
just laziness with the lockdown thing. I sort of started to get. I go a bit itchy. I mean, I don't know how you fellas do it with a proper beard, but
It's cream for
it
that,
gets to a
apparently.
stage where it's
I
all
wouldn't
very
call this a
uncomfortable,
proper
then it
beard.
comes
I wouldn't call this a proper beard.
off. We always looks distinguished, show John.
Oh, yeah, no, it's well, it does annoy me. Couldn't go any longer than this. I know when it needs cutting because it starts to itch, and it's like it's got to go. It's got to go.
Yeah,
That's interesting
yeah,
because that's what made me shave mine. Was it was just too damn itchy and out to go.
Yeah,
Beard oil.
same thing.
All that is the skin getting itchy because it's drying out. So you get beard oil. Honestly, it's not a gimmick, and you rub the beard oil in, and that sorts the itching out.
And
So
also, have you tried wearing one of the masks yet with the beard? It's horrible. It is horrible.
Talking of which, Bruce, did you get your KTM underpants?
Of course, yes.
And
Yes.
do they fit you? Because I've struggled to get them on, to be honest. I mean, I have managed it. I've got another pair on now.
I
You know,
thought
that's it.
I need two, obviously, two masks.
One for each bollock.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it did take a while for me to figure it out. I was thinking, what? How's that? What? But yeah.
Well, I had to put it on. You have to make sure you put it on in advance of actually going to the shop. That you look like
know.
a bit of a plum. Well, my lad borrowed it today, and he goes, "How'd you put it?" He had it around his ears, and then the wrong way round. And I was,
yeah.
what?
They have
it's
made
just
it.
like
They have made it in an Austrian way, haven't they? I mean, it's just for those that aren't blessed with their free KTM bribe masks. They've actually put the straps on the wrong way. Look, so you have to put it over your head in a weird way, don't
Better
you?
though, isn't it? Behind your ears, my ears stick out if I wear them behind my ears.
Mine
It's
do
horrible.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what you just wear? Obviously, you could get your TeapotOne buff and just wear the buff because apparently that counts as a mask somehow.
I've been using exactly the same on mine.
It's ridiculous. You know, I'm not going to get topical on. Well, we are just slightly, but if you've got to wear a mask for medical reasons, yet a bit of fabric across your mouth apparently counts as a mask.
An LCR hoodie works just as well if you pull it right.
Ah, well done.
You know, there we go.
Nicely done.
Or a t-shirt even. You know, it can be done. I don't like to advertise my merch on my own channel, but on Bruce's, it's fair game.
Exactly.
I'm not even wearing my own. Look, I'm flying the flag for someone else today. Cool.
Oh, good
Anyway,
on you.
never
Good on
mind.
you. Makes a change, Andy, doesn't it?
It does. It was really nice actually to come on wearing just a t-shirt that I would normally wear.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a
Oh,
shame
of
that
course
it's
you would.
advertising
Of course you
company.
would. Yeah. Triumph. Right, first things first, gentlemen. I know you've already cracked on. John, do you have
I've
a
cracked in
beverage?
already. I'm already in there. I'm already in there. Do you want to do a sync
done.
of audio, Bruce, or are you just going to use the Zoom?
That's
Because
a
I've
good
got the
point.
cameras going.
Yeah, could you do a
Do you want to do it?
Andy, do you want to do it? Oh, no, that's right. You're not bothering, are
I'll
you?
pretend
Yeah,
that I'm doing something technical.
Yeah.
I'm too tight to pay the £1.58 it costs to send
Why?
Bruce the file.
Why? I don't know why you paid. Nobody else has
No.
paid. Everyone else is just...
When I did it before, it was Google Drive, wasn't it, or something? And the file was too damn big to send you without signing up for an extension plan, which then they automatically
Really?
renew you the next month unless you cancel it the day before the renewal thing. I had to make a note. It's a load of hassle. And frankly, after my day, I could do without it. So there we are. Hence the beer.
Fair enough.
Only you. Nobody else has done that, but never mind. So...
Sorry, Bruce. Sorry.
People, we've probably missed the very start of this because I hadn't hit record on Zoom. So you'll probably get a couple of minutes of me laughing while staring into an empty screen. However, there's going to be issues with the video of Andy because we're having to use
that's it. Blame me.
Well, it is. We're having to use the Zoom file, which means I will only get video of Andy when he talks. So maybe you just have to talk all the time, Andy, and then I can have constant video of you.
I'm sure he
I
will
did-
anyway, Bruce.
I did an interview with Ryan of Fort9 in using just Zoom, and I had nearly 100,000 views.
Wow, can't
I'll
be
say
bad.
no more.
Yeah, but you always get that anyway.
Don't
He'd get that if he was having a poo.
Good enough.
No, yeah. Right, I think obviously there are shed loads of questions here, so I reckon we should just crack on and try, because we've only got a couple of hours.
Where's Richie though? Have you mentioned Richie yet?
Yeah, Rich isn't going to be joining us till I think 7:30. He said. So
this is when we're packing up. What's he on about?
Well,
this is bizarre. This is bizarre, isn't it? It's usually John that's the welcher. He doesn't normally turn up at all. But Rich turning up. What is going on?
We've got to give him some stick when he does turn up, I reckon.
Outrageous.
Yeah, Andy. Just going back on the Zoom thing. Now you had a constant video feed of Ryan the whole way through. How was that? Because when the way mine seems to be set up, it only records the video of the person who is talking. It's not recording everyone's video at the same time.
No idea. No, I didn't have a constant one. It did whoever was talking at the time. It does do that on mine. And it's quite clever the way it switches between them, isn't it? It's usually about right.
Ah, right. I know why it's because I have all the video up of everybody all the time. It's not like the main screen changes. I have, like for us, there'll be 3 camera feeds.
He's overdone it again, Andy, isn't he? He's overthought it. That's the problem. If he just had a laptop, press record, it would do it all for him. But he's overcomplicated it.
It's often best. I find.
I prefer having all the feeds on. But the problem is your one, whenever you're not talking, you're just going to have a paused, frozen camera feed. You know, people who are watching it will understand. I'm getting a blank look off of Andy, much like probably the blank look you people are seeing as we speak. But just to explain it, that's what happens. Anyway, let's crack on with some questions.
We sorted that out.
That's clear.
As mud. Right, folks, we'll start with Patreon. We always do. Only time I'll mention it, patreon.com/TeapotOne. Thank you very much to the clan. Here's
Other
first
patrons
question.
are available.
Well, they are, yes, but you know.
Can I just say, while we're on the question of technology,
go on.
The other thing that if you just let Zoom do it does, is it means you don't have to wear headphones.
Yeah, I know, but the video quality and the audio isn't great. I prefer the standard stuff.
All right then, okay.
Personally,
perfectionists to the core.
And you get, and if there's any issue with like the Wi-Fi, the internet, and like that, then you get interference on it. You get lagging, which obviously we're going to get now anyway. But I just prefer having, native recording either end, and it just works better.
Sorry to let you down, but don't
worry about it, mate. Don't worry about it. There's always one, and it's you today.
Yeah, there is. There's usually been.
Right, first question, Stuart Bailey. I recently watched a couple of bikes pull up at the seafront in Hunstanton. Both had pillions. One was a Panigale, the other was an older Triumph Daytona. As the pillions climbed off, I noticed how small their seats were in comparison to the rider and their legs folded up under their armpits. Do we think modern bike designs pay too little consideration to pillion riders? And if you were to ride pillion, what would be your choice of bike?
Oh, that's easy.
Go on.
Number one, I think you'll find it's pronounced Hunston if you live in North Norfolk, even though it's spelt Hunstanton. I'll just put that out there. And then, obviously, it would have to be a Goldwing, wouldn't it? Because you've got an armchair on the back. So I'll go for that.
I've still not ridden one of them yet. Thanks, Honda UK.
Me too.
Have you not ridden one, Chops?
No, I've never ridden one either.
I've got one coming on Monday for a month.
Have you?
A month?
Yeah.
That's probably why I can't get it.
I hope so. I'm going to ask you if I might be able to get an extension as well. I'm going to do a tour of Wales with Mrs. Flyer on the back.
Brilliant. Yeah,
awesome.
That will be good.
Yeah. So what do you think then? Do you think modern bike designs pay too little consideration to pillion?
I don't think. It depends what bike it is, doesn't it? I mean, I'm surprised the sports bikes even bother with any sort of pillion accommodation at all. So
I know,
I think if you're taking a pillion, you buy a bike which is good for a pillion, don't you? That's the way it works in my view, isn't it? If you don't really intend to take a pillion, then buy a bike which doesn't have good pillion provisions.
Yeah, I got to admit, it doesn't even come into the equation when I'm thinking about a bike personally.
No. Well, the H2 doesn't even come with any option for a pillion, so you're out of luck with that straie away.
To be fair, would you want to be pillion on an H2? Not with you riding it. Jesus.
Probably not. No.
I love the way, Bruce, that you say the pillion accommodation doesn't come into the equation. You take your missus on the back quite a lot, don't you?
What are we talking about? The bike?
Yes.
She definitely rides on the bike more now I have the tractor. She much prefer. She didn't like the GS. The Jigsaw. She didn't like being on the back of that, and I don't blame her because I would hate that. The GS, as long as I've got the back box on it, she's much more comfortable on it. But she doesn't come out that much. Yeah.
The GS is great actually as a pillion. I'm told. I've not been on the back of one. But
we can't stop mentioning GS.
We're not having a GS conversation, surely.
Everyone's throwing stuff at the screen as we speak. So, Stuart, basically, I think you're unanimous. If you were going to take a pillion, you would have a Goldwing. And do they pay too little consideration? No, as John said, really. If you're going to be thinking about taking a pillion on the back of the bike, then you'd buy a bike accordingly, wouldn't you? It's just...
Yeah, exactly.
One of those things.
Exactly.
Right, next one. Sweet Griffin. What adventure bike is the best of all the ones you have ridden and why? And Bruce, you can't say GS as we know you love them.
Doesn't stop me saying GS though, does it?
No, it doesn't. Go on, you fly the flag.
GS, definitely. I've been lucky enough to ride most, if not all, of the adventure bikes, and I still think as an all-rounder.
Hang on, Andy. I think there's a question. When you say adventure bike, what do you mean? Do you talking off-road capability as well, or are you talking just comfortable road bike for chucking miles out?
Yeah.
Or does it make any difference, or is it still the same answer?
Go on, Andy.
I think it's still the same answer. I personally think GS is misclassified as being, big trailers. Let's face it, not many people take them off-road. Most people buy them because they want to go touring with them, often with the missus on the back, and they carry lots of stuff, and they're just a great all-rounder. Regardless of the off-road ability that it happens to have as well, I just think they are the best. I've not found anything better with reasonable cost that does everything as well as the GS does. It's not. I know it's boring. I know Bruce gets a lot of flack for keep mentioning it, but he's just bought another one for good reason. I'm still running my original one because I don't keep crashing them as much as Bruce. But they are just fantastic bits of kit.
I do more than 4 miles a year on mine, Andy.
To be fair. Well, that is a good point. I can't really argue that. I ride my GS more than most of my other bikes, and I do a fair few thousand miles a year on it. But yeah, so it's boring, but it's true. Go on, then, John. What's your counter?
Probably GS. After giving you a hard time about it, yeah. I've got the XR here at the moment. You can probably see it behind me, and I didn't immediately gel with that, but after doing a few miles on it, I do like it a lot. But those HPGSs we rode in Toro, same as you've got, Bruce. They are very, very good. There's no denying it. I don't think the Africa Twin's quite as good as the GS. I think it probably is the best one, to be honest.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I wish there was something better, but yeah, I think probably GS as well.
What I would add, as well as the token small fella here, is that because I know if Richie was here, he'd be extolling the virtues of the Africa Twin because he absolutely loves it. Yeah. And it's of course a great bike. But I had the Africa Twin for a few weeks, and it is a lovely bike, but it's just so big and heavy. I know the figures wise, it's probably lighter than a GS, but of course a GS holds its weight low down. So as a small guy, I can move a GS around relatively easy because it's nice and low, the centre of gravity. That XR, I also had the XR, the one with the panniers.
There's a story there, people. There is a story.
I just, again, it's a BMW. It's very similar to the GS in a lot of ways, and the controls, the TFT, and all that sort of stuff. Even the riding position is kind of similar. But my goodness me, moving the thing around my garage, it just did my old man's arthritis in, and that's a big deal for me. And that, again, is where the GS scores over things like that.
The paper XR is actually quite light, isn't it? I mean, it's a good 30. It's good 30 kilos. The GS on paper, I'd imagine, but it does feel it feels heavier than it actually is. The paperweight.
Well, and also, did you find that the side stand is really short and you have to really?
Yeah, it really. You can't get on the bike. By just standing on the pegs and getting on it for fear of the whole thing going over. So I tend to get on it. When you've got some luggage on, so you can't get your leg over. You can't throw your leg over. So, yeah, it really leans over, doesn't
I struggle with that,
going to go over in a minute. Getting your leg over.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bruce.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone knows what I'm going to say. The GS simply it is the best bike ever in terms of.
You're not allowed to say the GS. You're not allowed to say the GS.
Well,
You've got to come up with your second best.
I know.
Second best.
And I think second best. I'm torn on the second best because I really love the KTM Super Adventure, but I also I was well impressed with the Multistrada, the 1260 Multistrada. I think I would probably go, and this is purely because everyone knows how much I love off-roading. I would base this purely on the road characteristics of it, and I would probably go KTM just because it's. I don't know, KTM's just got that sort of naughty bad boy side in it. It's got that hooligan element, and I miss that.
Have you chaps tried the Tiger 900 though? Because that's my second best.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good bike as well. Yeah, very true.
Not had a chance to ride that yet.
It's not obviously it doesn't have the big engine, but the way they've tuned it for road use, it's a real hoot to ride. You can chuck it about. It's nice and light. It goes well. Sounds brilliant.
Is it better than the 1200? Because I did find
forget the 1200. That's just a lardy, horrible bike.
I find it very boring, to be honest. The 1200.
You used your own one, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Till I
ruled you against that at the time.
I didn't know you then. I got the 1200, blew it up crossing Wales, and then made the mistake of throwing my leg over a GS, and then the rest is history. So yeah.
That's what they used to be known as the
900.
1200.
Try and get the 900.
Yeah, I will do. Well, if I get the opportunity, I'll take one out.
It's got much more character with that T-plane crank, or whatever they put, like a cross-plane type crank. It does gives it a few more vibes, but it gives it a bit more character, Andy, doesn't it? It's
absolutely,
it's nice.
And it sounds lovely when you wind it up.
Yeah,
it's really agile as well.
Right then, Sway. There you go. I mentioned KTM. That's something different. Fresh-born rider. Simple question for all of us. When are you lot getting back together on a trip like the one with Toro or something similar? Or are there any plans for something like Bike versus Planes that we did the last time? Well, we keep mentioning it, don't we? We've got ideas, but we've just not narrowed down an actual proper thing yet and a date and time.
Yeah,
I like the way he says simple question because it's not a simple answer, is it?
It's not, is it? It's a nightmare. What you need to remember, folks, is there's a minimum of 4 of us involved here. 5 if we get Andy Mancam. There's other people like John, official Mr. Fish. There's quite a few other people that you could get, the 44 Teeth lads. There's loads of people that we could get involved in this, and it's just every time you add someone, it's more logistics. It's something else to chuck in the pot. Andy's doing it full time. I'm doing it full time. John's got full time business. Andy's trying to balance this. Same with Richie. It's hard, isn't it? Trying to find times when we're all free.
Well, I think if it wasn't for the C word this year, we probably would have tried to have set something up and done something, I think, wouldn't we? Even if it was more small scale, just a tour on, we spoke about a tour on 125s and maybe doing a bit of camping and stuff. I think for me, that would be great. I think that's what we should, don't overcomplicate it. If you overcomplicate it, it just won't happen. That's the trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it simple is the key.
I think our idea with the one, I think our idea with the 125s, great idea. We need to work on that. But there's got to be an angle, isn't there? There's got to be something in it. And then it's the issue we had with Bike versus Planes when each of us have essentially the same video going on all the channels, it dilutes it. So we have to figure out.
Yeah, we won't do that again.
We
learned the lesson there, didn't we?
Yeah, and it's how do you balance that out? Because it's a lot of time and it's a lot of effort, and you can't just have that one end result going to one channel. It's got to be. You
split the episodes over everyone's channel, don't you? So we start off on one person's. Episode 2's on someone else's. Episode 3's on the other person. Say you do 4 episodes, and then we've all got an episode on each channel. I think that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
I agree. Yeah, that would be good.
Cool. Right, we'll put
so
our
the
heads
intention.
together.
The intention is there, isn't it? The intention is very much there. It's the logistics, time, money, logistics.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get our heads together, folks. I think some beer. We need to get together. We need some beer, and the ideas will flow. And I promise you, we'll get something together. Probably not this year, but definitely for 21. Mm-hmm. Right, we'll make a deal on that. Definitely for 21.
Definitely.
Right,
cheers.
Slangs. Written in stone now. That's it. Contract. Right, Michael Wright. Lamb Chops. Have you still got the Fireblade? If not, do you miss it? Come on,
No,
Michael, you need to know that.
Keep up, Michael. That went years ago. That went a couple of years ago. I'm actually going to be riding it again very, very soon. So I'm quite looking forward. Yeah, BE Moto, who's got it now, channel sponsor. They got bike track on it, so they want me to pretend to steal it, and then they're going to try and track it down with the bike track, and I take it out somewhere, and they try and track me down to wherever I am on it using the bike track.
What an awesome idea!
Yeah, it sounds good, doesn't it? So I don't know when that's going to be, but that's going to be in the next couple of months or so. So I get to ride the bike again, do another video, and it's the whole bike tracker type thing built on it as well. So yeah, I think that'd be quite cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
I'm getting on the data tracker. We got to beat that quick.
I said it first. It's out there now. Can't copy any more of my ideas.
Oh man, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to watch that. That's going to be great.
Yeah, that'll be really good, won't it? So I don't know when it's happening. Hopefully soon.
Cool.
Actually, talking of cracking security ideas, I very much enjoyed your video the other day, John, with your son.
Thank you very much.
That was great. And I know you got a bit of hassle on it. It seems like you did afterwards. I don't know why, because it was a great fun video. People just need to take it as entertainment. But the fact that he didn't get a sniff anywhere near the 20 quid was brill. I love that. Good fathering.
I should have done 50.
Yeah, make it really bad. Yeah.
Everyone said, buy him a pair of socks. Give him the 20 quid anyway. He's got more money than me. He's got an apprenticeship, and he literally has more money than me. It's ridiculous.
You got a lot of flack in
living
that.
at home with your parents, that's what does it, isn't it? But he loaded
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I did get a lot of flack in that. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a night. You just try and do something, and everyone's just coming the same thing. Lock picking lawyer, lock picking. It's like, oh, come on, guys. I mean, I don't know if you saw that video. He had literally a 6 foot set of cable cutters used for cutting, the Japanese used for cutting overhead power lines, and they're like £400 to buy these cutters. They're not the average cutters someone has in their backpack. They're ridiculous. So,
and the thing is, there's nothing that guy can't get into. I mean,
there's nothing that stands up to what. That's the thing with it. It's not just like,
he's a specialist. He's a specialist criminal. I'm surprised he's allowed to put these things on YouTube, actually, because it shows people how to pick locks. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, absolutely. Wrong. I mean, the whole idea of the light, it's a tick in the box with the security thing with the sole secure, isn't it? And it's for your insurance, and it's a deterrent. It's an easy to live with deterrent to carry around on your bike. So people just didn't seem to get that really. But everyone says angle grinder. It's like, well, nothing's going to stand up to an angle grinder. It doesn't matter what lock you've got. If someone's got a battery powered angle grinder, you're done for. And it's the same old story.
I think with those light locks, even an angle grinder may struggle because it's got some like plastic matting stuff around the clever stuff. And I think that's been designed to slow down angle grinder attacks. So it might be worth giving that a try at some point.
It could be. But I'm done with it now.
Yeah, it sounds like you probably might be doing it.
I think I'm done with security products now after that video.
It sucks the life out of you sometimes, doesn't it?
Because it does, yeah.
Okay, you do make. Obviously, I'm making a living out of it. Andy's making a living out of it, and
half a living.
Well, yeah, and you get kickbacks. You make some money out of affiliates and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, you do, but it ain't easy. It takes a lot of time and effort, and most people are brilliant, aren't they? But when you get all that negativity coming back at you, you're like, you're not having to pay to watch this content. Do you know what I mean? It's there for you to watch.
Well, look, I actually took down my affiliate link on that one because people were saying, well, how can we trust if you're getting paid to sell these? This is just an advert. And I was like, well, I really believe in this product. So I'm willing just to take away any affiliation and any small kickbacks I may get just to say to you, this is a good product. This isn't just a sales patter. I do actually believe in this. So I took that off. But so many people said, oh, we really want to buy one. We want 10% off.
Send it to me, Chopsy. My affiliate link still works.
Well, I've put it back on now. Because so many people have said, we get it. We want to buy one. Why should we miss out because of a few people have kicked off about it? And I was like, well, yeah, I agree. So I've actually put it back on now.
I mean, I'm like you. Well done, John, because you got the moral high ground there, yet still end up back at the same point. So good move.
Exactly.
I'm completely with you. I do reviews of products on my channel as well. And I wouldn't do the review if I didn't personally rate the product.
No.
I've got a garage full of crap that I've never reviewed. People often ask me, what's that jacket hanging up? I don't tell them because it's one that I think is a bit rubbish. So,
Well, I always say any company that ever approaches me to review a product, I always say to them, I will give my my honest opinion. So if I think someone's crap, I'm going to tell them it's crap, but I'll give a reason why I think it's crap. There's no point in just going, those tyres are crap. You can't say that. You've got to quantify it, haven't you? And I think the vast majority of our respective, obviously we have a massive crossover here between people that follow your channel and my channel, Andy's channel. Well, everyone follows bloody Andy's channel, but you know what I mean. It's like
not everyone.
we have a big crossover, but people, through our content, people get to know you, don't they? Or your online presence. And I think you can only count on your integrity and the people that follow your community. That if you've built up that sort of connection with people and that integrity with people, people trust you. And you can't jeopardize that, and I'll never jeopardize that. I'll never say, I'll never sell out and go, this is amazing, this is awesome, it's fucking brilliant. When I know it's shit.
How many emails do you get every day from companies saying, we've got this product, we can launch this product together. Last week we made 250,000 with these other people trying to launch this. I just ignore all those. Or how about a 60-second advert on the start of all of your videos? We pay you $300 and we do a 60-second advert. Not interested in that. Do you know what I mean? That is not what it's about. Mm-hmm. So you're absolutely right, Bruce. And I must to be honest, all the comments I had were from usernames I didn't really recognise. They weren't. If it's people who follow the channel all the time, it would have been even more, soul destroying. But it wasn't. It was people who must have just come across the video and thought, this is rubbish. But but thankfully it was only those people, not my sort of followers, as it were. Yeah,
definitely. I take much more from if I see a comment from someone I know has been following the channel and they've been interacting, and if it's not a negative comment, but if they have something negative to say about it, as in didn't really agree with what you were saying, or maybe this or that, I'll put a lot more weight behind that. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, well, you've invested in the channel, the channel, and I kind of I value that opinion more because they know what the channel's about. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely agree. 100%. It's just like you say, John. It's not worth the effort you've put into building your channel. It is not worth destroying your reputation over something like that. I'm quite lucky now because particularly with things like the bikes that you get lent, because I've got now quite a big following, or it seems like I have. I do genuinely say what I think about bikes, and I may well upset some bike manufacturers, and if they then don't lend me other bikes in the future, not much. I was about to mention a name. Then that's more for them, I say, because I think they get more out of us than we get out of them. When you look at
absolutely
agreed, and it comes back to what you said, Bruce, isn't it? About as long as you back up there's no terrible bikes at the moment out there, is there? And I've not ridden any terrible bikes. Some of them have niggles. As long as you talk through what you don't like, what the positives are, what things could be better, it's good feedback for them at the end of the day, isn't it? To make the next model even better, So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, as long as you can justify what you're saying,
as long as you justify what you're saying,
by your comments, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And ultimately, everyone's different, aren't they? Like one person's salt is another person's chocolate, isn't it? It's just
Super Duke and Richie.
Yeah,
we can mention that.
I don't get that.
No.
I mean, there must have been. I'll put my hands up. I was bugger it. I will tell you. I haven't just gone through integrity. Gone over integrity. I'll tell you what happened. Right. The reason I get loads of people asking me where's the follow-up vid for the Super Duke, because there's only one out there. The reason there's not a second vid is because the Super Duke broke down after my...
You broke it?
After
I think you broke it, Bruce.
I had 3 rides on it. So I had my first ride, which the camera I was using knackered on the way. I picked it up from KTM. I got caught in some rain and the camera pooed itself, so I couldn't use that footage. I took it out for the next ride, which is the one the video was all on, where I totally fell in love with that bike. And hand on my heart, it still would be my bike of choice at the moment for rideability. It would be the Super Duke R. However, when I went to my garage, it had pooed itself. It had ditched all the coolant and oil over the floor. Seems a hose or something had come off. That bike then, once it was repaired, went to Rich, and Rich has just had an utter nightmare, isn't he? And he hates it. Absolutely hated it. So
Well, I think some of it was user error though with Rich.
he fiddled with buttons and settings and stuff.
He said the rear locks up, and he did come off it because he skidded the rear. And then when he sent a picture of the dash, he'd had it into moto mode where the ABS is off on the back.
So you can look up. So there's a fair bit of user error going on there. Definitely, it'll be interesting to see because he's going to get that bike again, isn't he? And it'd be interesting to see.
Well, we both. It's my. Well, if we had to say a bike of 2020 so far, that would be my bike of 2020.
If
I was to replace my bike today, or buy a new bike, it would be one of those. I absolutely loved it.
I fell in love with it.
That is high praise. I have to say, I'm not a big fan of KTMs generally, and huge credit to KTM because they are great to me. They've even sent me a beer thingy, and the underpants, of course. So
mine's in my garage.
They're an example of a manufacturer. I often say things about their bikes that that I don't gel. They're not bad bikes, but I say that I don't like them, but they still keep going back. So that's great. But the Super Duke. I haven't ridden the current one because I just haven't had a chance to yet, but it's on the list and I'm getting it later in the year. That is the one KTM that I really do like too.
Yeah, so you like the two, didn't you? I'm not a rider
like you guys, but it's an amazing bike normally, isn't it?
Yeah. You liked the two, didn't you? You did like the two version, didn't you?
Very much so.
Yeah, so the three is just fixes all the little things with the two. It is a great bike. It is a great bike.
I tell you what was a massive eye-opener for me, though, and a touch of reality was I fell in love with that Super Duke, and then after I filmed that second vid, I took out for one more ride before it broke down, and I went out with a whole load of my ex-copper mates who were all on GS's and a Triumph, a Ducati, like all adventure bikes, and we did all backcountry B roads, typical sort of roads that we normally ride to get away. There's no old bill on the B roads or anything. You can enjoy yourself. Well, the trailies, especially the GS, they could corner so much quicker than the Super Duke could, because at speed it couldn't cope with the bumps in the road that like the GS could, and it was a massive leveler because I was thinking to myself, I'm so much quicker on the Super Duke, and then when I rode with the normal people I ride with, I was actually slower, and it was like, whoa, that's a bit of an eye-opener. Where you could use the power, the Super Duke went, but for normal riding on the shitty, crappy, bumpy British back roads that I normally ride on, again, GS was winning.
So what you're saying, Bruce, is the GS is the best bike out there, isn't it? That's what you're saying.
Well, that's why I bought it. Ultimately, that's why I went and I bought the GS, because I was going to buy the Super Duke R. Even though it had broke down, I was still thinking, that bike tickles my danglies in a way they haven't been tickled in quite a while. And I was prepared.
You loved the GT, didn't you?
Sorry?
Didn't you love the Super Duke GT, the touring version?
No, I like that. It's a good bike, but Rich loves the GT. I preferred the Super Adventure. Right. Yeah, I just it's a bit more raw, and I just preferred that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the GT as well. To be fair, I really like the GT, and I really like the Super Duke. For the sort of riding I do, I'd go for the Super Duke because I don't really do big miles, So I'd go for the Super Duke. But I did think the GT was also fantastic. But I think you saying that, Bruce, I think we could do a little dual video here. Me on the Super Duke, him on the GS, and we'll see who's quickest across country. Right,
you're on. I don't need to be a good
aeroplane. I've got an idea.
Yeah, and I need an airplane on a glider, a microlight.
I don't need to be a good boy anymore. So yeah, okay.
That's right.
Right. Let's crack on, because
that's two questions done.
What was the question?
40 minutes.
Yeah, that was. The last one was Michael Wright. Chopsy, have you still got the Fireblade?
Oh yeah, crikey.
That was a yes/no answer as well.
I know. Yeah, we did a bit. Next one, Mike Phillipson. Question to all four of you legends. Oh, jeez. Bikes are about to be outlawed across the planet, but each of you are allowed one last trip or tour. Which of these would it be? 1, Harleys across the USA. 2, Super Dukes around the Picos. 3, GSs from Ushuaia to Mexico. 4, Africa Twins in Africa. P.S. And no, Mr. Vida, you can't use your beloved VFR. So, Harleys in the States, Super Dukes, Picos, GS's Ushuaia to Mexico, or Africa Twins in Africa.
There's some bloody good ideas there. So
isn't it?
Yeah. I like that.
It's a few future series there.
I think there is, yeah. For me,
sounds expensive.
Yeah, it does sound expensive. For me, I know we said this last time, Bruce. I think it's the Harleys across America, because I know we mentioned that when we did our last podcast. I think for me, because I've never even been to America, let alone on a motorcycle. So I think for me, it would be the Harleys. You
don't want to do it at the moment, though.
No, I'll probably give it a miss. A miss for the moment, yeah.
You get to pick it up in Florida and ride it all the way to California.
And see if you're still alive by the end of it.
Yeah. What about you, Andy?
I'm exactly the same. When I saw that list, or when you read it out, it was like, yeah, no doubt, Harley across the USA. That, for me, has got to be number one. I've never ridden a Harley, which I will put right at some point. I'm always getting told off for that, and I love the idea of Harleys. I know you've got into recently, Bruce, and love them, and for all the same reasons, I think I probably would too. Yeah. I just love the US as a country. It would just be a fantastic trip. So yeah, easy peasy. Yeah,
I'm looking at the four of them. It's Africa Twins in Africa, purely because it's Africa, and I want to go back.
You've got an issue. You've got to settle that one, haven't you?
Yeah, I want to go back and tick that continent off. I don't like it. Beat me. I want to go back and do it. I'm not that fussed about. I mean, I've not ridden the new Africa Twin, but I would take the blooming Sinus 125. I don't care. I just want to go back. So
I tell you what, the Sinus 125 would be far easier.
Yeah. Have you ridden it? You've ridden the 125?
I did lots of reviews on it a few years back, and
I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, it's a bit like have you ridden the Royal Enfield Himalayan, or Himalayan as it's properly pronounced?
No, I've not.
It's the same sort of deal in that it's basic and it's simple, but for what it is, it's brilliant. And I in fact, I've been quite impressed with some of those little Sinus bikes. I know they're cheap and they're not the best quality, but look at how much you're paying for them. If you're just getting into biking, you need cheap transport. Why not?
Do you know?
They are so cheap, aren't they?
Right, they're made in China.
Yeah.
Right, so. But do you know what else is made in China? Your beloved Suzuki
made in China, aren't they?
Your Suzuki GSX-R, the 125s, up to, I think, do they do a GSX-R 400 or 500? The smaller CC Gixxers, they're all made.
They do a 250. They do a 250, I think.
That's made in China. Then the Harleys, I can't remember which specific model, but that's made in China. And obviously Harleys, okay, there's questions over their build quality from some at the moment, but a lot of bikes, the modern bikes out there, they're made in blooming China. So
my Apple iPhone is made in China, and that's as American as they come.
Exactly. There you go. I think that sort of stigma is maybe a little bit outdated now in regards to quality, because they do the job. I know a young couple that took those Sinus Terrains, the 125 adventure bike. They rode them from. I did a podcast with them, but their audio didn't work. We did it on the bikes, and they had these cheap Bluetooths, and it just didn't work.
Are they Chinese?
They were actually. Perversely, yes, they were cheap Chinese knockoff Bluetooth headsets. But they rode their Sinus from the UK all the way to Mongolia, did the Mongol rally, and then rode them back, and they've still got them now. So,
yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
It's a great advert for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Although what did amuse me about that little Sinus was the side cases on it, absolute knockoff of the GS ones.
Yeah, and they're about 8 inches big, aren't they? You can get
exactly.
You could maybe get a laptop in them. Yeah,
yeah, and some KTM underpants, and that's about it.
Right, there you go.
Talking of KTM, I must go and get another beer. I'll be back in a moment. I can hear what you're saying while I'm gone, so don't talk about it.
That's a shame.
Okay. Right, Mike, there you go. We've got 2 for the States road trip and me for Africa. I think Rich will go back to... Rich is going back to the States anyway, isn't he, next year?
He is, yeah. So he'd probably do he wouldn't do the Super Duke through the Picos because he didn't like it much.
No,
I think he'd be joining you in Africa, I reckon. Rich would.
Rich would do the US one. He would love to be in America, wouldn't he?
He's true.
Well, he's going back,
isn't he? Anyway, isn't he?
He's doing another.
Year, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to the States next year, so you never know. And might be able to hook up. Were you going as well, Andy? Did you say you were going to be going to the States?
I'm. Well, I don't like to give away my plans, so I'll not answer that.
Okay, no worries.
The plan is yes.
But we'll maybe see you there as well then.
Yeah.
I'm not going, so don't worry.
Ash86. Hi guys, a question for all of us. What bikes have you bought and regretted it after a short time of ownership? Please give your reasons. Also, what made you all decide to become YouTubers? Right, first one.
This is a classic question for Chops, isn't it? Because he's had so many bikes and got rid of them. He's made so much buyer's remorse.
The only bike I ever bought and hated immediately was the first bike I ever bought, which was an MBX 50. I don't know if we spoke about this, Bruce, before. We might have done. But it was completely tuned up. It had like a really tiny spot. This thing was geared to do 70 miles an hour. And this is back in, oh Christ, I don't even know. This is a long time. When I was 16, whatever that was.
Yeah.
So it was geared up to do 70 miles an hour. And I bought it without riding it for some reason. And as soon as I got on it, was so high geared, I couldn't even get past 20 miles an hour on it without absolutely. It just wouldn't pull it. With that gearing, it just wouldn't pull it at all. So the very next day, I swapped it with a mate who had a DT50. The next day. So I literally had it a day and then traded it and swapped it for another chap. So,
Great answer.
What about you, Andy?
Well, I mean, as you know, I'm relatively newbie in biking. I've only been riding, since in the, this time round for about 10 years. And I always, I'm a bit anal. I do a lot of research and try and make sure I make the right decision in the first place, I like to think. So I've not had any that I immediately regret. And most of the bikes I've ever bought, I've still got. In fact, there's only 2 that I haven't. So, and those were bikes that were perfectly good at the time.
Is there any out there that if you had the opportunity to swap one for a new bike, what would it be?
That's a question I get asked a lot, and there's not really. I've not found. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I've not found any bikes out there yet, having ridden most of the new crop, that I'd rather have than the bikes I've already got, other than newer versions of the ones I've got, and that doesn't apply in all cases. So, for example, I've got a Street Triple R. I actually prefer mine to the new Street Triples because they've changed quite a lot over the years, and they've now got a horrible TFT. They've dumbed down the gear ratios because of Euro 4 at the time. So in fact, my older bike I prefer to the current ones.
Right.
So oddly and lucky for me, because it sort of makes me think that I did the right research. All the bikes that I've still got, I wouldn't change them for anything else other than in the case of GS, a newer GS. That's it. But maybe the
900.
Well, the trouble is, I do take my missus on the back occasionally, and she
the bike.
Yeah. She wasn't a big fan on the back of the Tiger 900 compared to the
really?
GS. We did a direct comparison, and she preferred the GS.
Yeah.
So that scores there wouldn't obviously apply in Bruce's case because he doesn't give a monkey's what his missus thinks, which is good, which is the right way to treat your women. Well done, Bruce.
Ugh.
Where's his big stick?
Yeah. Well, hey, give me another beer or two, and you can see it, Johnny boy. It's more like a twig. Never mind. For me, wow, it's a difficult one because
your Tiger 1200.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe
there
that
it is.
one, yeah.
I don't want to shoot myself in the foot with Triumph, but the only Triumph I've ever owned is the 2015 Triumph 1200 Explorer. I loved that. I absolutely loved it when I test rode it, and when I first had it, it was just a revelation. Fell in love. You can see that in the first ride review vid I ever did. That is genuinely my reaction. Loved it. However, I blew the engine up going over the Brecon Beacons because on that engine, the coolant and the oil is kept apart by a 10 pence piece rubber grommet that keeps the two apart, and that failed, so the oil got in the coolant. The coolant obviously then gets too thick to circulate around the engine overheated and blew up, and then from that moment on I had nothing but issues. It went back 8 times in 6 months back
There's
to the
a common
dealership.
theme here, and isn't it? I think all these things keep breaking when Bruce is using them. There's a common denominator
There's a thread.
here. There is. What's actually happening? Comes back to the big stick and the hammer again.
Yeah, I genuinely think I had a Friday afternoon bike because there were 5 of us, 4 of my mates and me. We were all sports bike people, and we all, within the space of about a month or 2 months, test rode the Triumph 1200, and all of us bought Triumph 1200s. Wow. Like Carl Rosner's in South Croydon had a field day. They made a fortune out of us. And I was the only one out of everybody, although I do a lot more miles than everyone else, but I was the only one that had any issues at all with the bike. I just think I had a gremlin bike. But I ended up
getting rid of that. You probably had the one that was built in Britain.
All the others were the Thai bikes. Yeah.
Thai one, yeah.
So I had a problem with that. And then the other one that springs to mind was my 2014 Tuono V4R that I bought. When I first came back from, I'll mention it, I haven't mentioned it yet. I went around the world, don't you know. When I first came back, I bought a Tuono. And again, loved that. But then at about 4,500 miles, it started having loads of fueling issues. Like it would conk out when I rolled off the gas. So just as you were coming up to a roundabout and you eased off the throttle, the engine would cut out just at the point where you want to put the gas back on. It wouldn't start in cold mornings. The low-speed fueling was terrible. So I got
Italian Exotica for you.
Looked amazing, and under power, I took it round the Pyrenees. It was phenomenal.
What exhaust did you have on it, Bruce? Did you have a different exhaust on it, or was it
I
standard?
did actually. No, I had the Scorpion. I had the Austin Racing GP1 cab.
I was told by the head tech at Aprilia, at Paggio, that the Tuono is very, very sensitive. Don't use any other exhaust apart from the Akropovich. Well, I know this could be a marketing thing, but the Akropovich one they sell for the bike. If you use any other one, and don't have it remapped, or even if he said even if you do have it remapped, but he seemed to think that the actual valves will burn through. It won't fuel properly, and the valves will actually burn through and damage themselves. So
it's funny you say that.
Too late now.
I asked him and said, all this reliability thing keeps coming up all the time. Honestly, what sort of things go wrong? And he said, this exhaust, do not change the exhaust for a different one apart from the Akropovich. Yeah, because they don't like the fueling change. They're really sensitive on the valves, and it burns through them.
It was valves, because when I took it at about 4,500 miles, I took it back to the place I bought it in Croydon, and MotoOne, I think they're called. I took it back to them, and they said, it's the valves are way out. And I was like, it's got 4,000 and a bit miles. How can, the valve clearances, how can they be so far out at 4? Because my Gixxer's done 102,000 miles and they're as tight as a die, no problem. And he was like, it's just, these need valve clearances done every single service. I'm like, what?
Chris.
Wow. Yeah, mega expensive, every service. But that's interesting you say that, right?
Yeah. Could have been something related to that, maybe.
Yeah. Bit more than a coincidence, really, isn't it? Yeah. Right, well, there you go.
User error again, Andy. As we said, user error.
Again, a theme.
Put that one down to user error.
There's another common theme here. I'm giving up. RZ Ted, is it time to formally band together and begin producing content under a single production house management? Reduce overlapping content and offer more opportunities for entertaining banter between you? No. Gut reaction, no. You guys?
Yes, I agree.
John's keeping quiet.
I see the logic.
Yeah.
But for me, and this is a selfish answer, I do YouTube because I enjoy doing it, and it's it was a hobby, and it's sort of become part of my livelihood now. But I still love doing it fundamentally, and I like the fact that it's all under my control, and I can do what I want. And a little bit of a secret, when I decided I was going to go into this a bit more seriously about 3 years ago, when I sort of stopped my day job and thought, right, I'm going to go for it now, I thought to myself, at the time there were two big YouTubing channels, Royal Jordanian and 44 Teeth had been going for a couple of years, and they were both doing great things in terms of views and stuff, and I thought, do I want to be a 44 Teeth or do I want to be a Royal Jordanian? And frankly, I thought, looks like I'll work what 44 Teeth are doing. It's great stuff, but they're obviously putting a lot of time, effort, money into this. Yeah. Royal Jordanian's just bimbling around London. He's getting loads of views. I'd rather be like him. So that was kind of where I positioned it. And that. Although I love doing when we can get together. It's great going out with you guys and doing stuff. Once you get into the production company world, and inevitably we'd have to have people involved that were doing admin and stuff. Suddenly it's out of your control, and it would lose the fun for me. And I think that would stop me wanting to do it.
Yeah, good points. Yeah, good points actually.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Andy. It's frustrating how I understand why you are like you are, in the sense of you like the control and you don't want to relinquish that control. I totally understand that. We've had a couple of opportunities where people have said, what about this, what about that? But it would mean relinquishing a little bit, well, possibly, potentially a lot of control. And you've been stalwart and saying, no, I'm not up for that. And it's frustrating, but I totally get it. No, but I totally understand it, because I know I'm exactly the same as you. And I think I really enjoy the fact now that I'm totally in charge of what I do, when I do it, where my channel's going to go. And
exactly.
I think for me, I think I am exactly like you, actually. I'm a bit of a control freak about my baby, you know, and I don't think. Plus, I think we have our own. Although we've got a massive crossover, we've all got our own unique personalities, our own unique style to how we edit, to how we do vids. You know, it's. I think there's
Absolutely.
enough. There's enough of.
And let's face it, I'm better than you guys. So you know, why would I want to dilute that?
You plainly are, because you've got the bigger following, the bigger views.
I think you might be going at the wrong guy. You still continue to do your own channels, but there'd be another channel just with content produced with all of us, if you see what I mean. So it wouldn't necessarily impact what you were doing on your own channels, but what if it was a combined, another channel or another.
It's more work then, though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but yes.
That is exactly it, Bruce. And I'm always amazed how John keeps churning out great content.
With the daytime,
still has a day job.
Yeah.
I think you're doing one video a week, John, aren't you? And Bruce and I think
I'm sort of doing two at the moment. I'm managing to do 2 a week at the moment. I think it's sort of, more or less 2 a week. 1 week it may be 1, but more or less 2 a week, yeah.
See, I'm amazed how you do it. I mean, I did 3 videos a week for 2 years solid and didn't miss any, and I was very close to burnout. Now I've gone down this year to 2 videos a week. I can manage it, but I am thinking maybe I want to go down to 1 a week, because there's still, you know, as you well know, because you two guys do much better production quality than I do. But if you make them more complicated, it takes more time in the editing and everything else and stuff. And I have been trying to plan mine a bit more recently and tried to make them a little bit more interesting. But I could make them much better if I did 1 a week, and it might give me a weekend off. And, I don't want to say that in a moany way, because when I say a weekend off, because it is, as I said, a hobby anyway. So it's great. But there are certain weeks when you really don't have the time to do 2, and, it gets tricky. So if you were to have that thing where you're also working for a production company.
True. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good point. It's a very good point.
I've got some stuff coming up potentially next year, which I can't talk about publicly. I'll chat to you guys about it after, definitely. But I've got some stuff coming next year, which is going to be a massive time commitment if it comes off. But potentially it could be a much wider. I could be casting my net much wider afield. So I'm prepared to do that. But I'm
wider
also
afield than the whole world, Bruce. How does that work?
Yeah, but but you know how, like, YouTube, it's hard, because you kind of say you've got, like, for me, right? I've got 40,000 subs. But when I publish a video, it's not good. It doesn't go to 40,000 people. It'll maybe go to. Was your video just gone, John?
Yeah, it has. I'm just changing the batteries quickly. Yeah.
Okay. Mate,
See, that was the other reason not to
just changing
do it.
the batteries,
Wouldn't have lasted. I knew that.
I plugged mine in. Mine's powered off the computer.
Boy, it's very complicated at your end, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's really complicated. You plug in a cable. Yeah.
Yeah. Way beyond my skill level. I've only got a degree in computer science.
Is that you back in, John?
Yeah, I'm recording again, mate. Yeah.
All right, do you want to do a wee clap?
Yeah. There we go. I'm actually recording on 2 cameras here, just in case one doesn't work. That's how.
After the last
it
attempt,
cost you £2.76.
In fact, it was you two. You two are the 2 that I've had problems with.
That's why I'm doing it. Mine didn't work, so this is why I've got 2 here, because I thought I don't want that to happen again. Imagine if 4 of us, and then one person's audio doesn't work. It would just ruin the whole thing.
Yeah, that'd be
I can't do that.
Right, so we're back in the room, folks. Slight technical issue. Right, we're back in. Yeah, like, even though you've got 40,000 subs, or 60,000, 160,000, whatever it is, it doesn't.
172, Bruce.
Jesus, it's 172.
Keep up, Bruce. Keep up.
Wow, good effort. But even though you've got that, when you publish a video, it doesn't go to the.
Well,
you know,
they reckon
100%
10%. They reckon if you're getting more than 10%, you're doing well.
Yeah.
If you're getting more than 10% pickup on your sort of average videos, then you're doing quite well.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Which is why you constantly need to be covering like new topics, or like for me, I'm trying something different next year as well as this, to just try and cast the net out a little bit wider and see what happens from it. Who knows?
Good idea.
Who knows?
Well, it's good to sort of diversify the content a bit as well, because if you just don't, you know, bike reviews, a lot, you know, as we know, a lot of people you get subscribers, a lot of people watch the bike reviews. That's where most of the new subscribers come from, isn't it?
Massively, yeah.
But you don't just want to be a bike review channel. I don't anyway. So you want to include some other stuff, and the bike review channels are almost a bit like the bread and butter, aren't they? They're the way of getting the subscribers into your channel.
It's how to build
but it
the
may
channel.
not be they may not be the things you actually enjoy producing the most yourself, you know. So
I've noticed that your editing, your production content has gone through the roof recently, John.
You reckon? I've gone the other way.
Slick.
I thought we'd gone downhill.
Yeah, it's funny you said it, because I've taken a leaf out of your book, and as I've been doing 2 videos a week, I've sort of simplified it a little bit. Well, I thought I had anyway. I've sort of thought, well,
honestly,
I'm not going to do those fancy
better.
transitions. I'm just going to cut it. I'm not going to do the whip pan. I'm not going to do that sort of thing. I'm just going to cut the video from one to... Do you know what I mean? So I've actually tried to simplify it, because I really don't know if I could be wrong, but I get the impression people don't really care about that stuff.
I 100% think they don't. If you look at TV programs, if you watch, I don't know, one of Henry Cole's bike programs, he doesn't do fancy transitions and fancy whizzy stuff. It's just straightforward cuts one to the other. It turns me off a bit if the stuff is too flashy. I mean, occasionally in certain circumstances it's nice, but I think it's diminishing returns doing the fancy stuff.
I think you're right. And sometimes, like the H2 video, I did that bit of an intro on that one, and I put the lighting on, and I thought
that's good.
Sometimes you just like to do that, and it's nice. My creative side likes to do a bit of that, and I thought with the sponsors, I'll do something a little bit different.
I was going to say, that thing you did with those, that was really good.
So I thought that was nice, but I think just for the everyday videos, I've just tried to simplify it a bit. When you've got the Insta360 cameras, it adds a lot of workflow, because you have to then render them, and then, so that is a pain. But I do like that footage. I think it's worth the effort with that. And I find that quite useful to have 2 cameras if you're then cutting between what you're saying as well.
Absolutely,
I think it makes it smoother.
I think there's no doubt having 2 cameras when you're doing the on-bike stuff definitely makes for a better video, although it does double your editing effort.
And you can hide the speedo a lot more too.
Yeah, that saves the speedo editing as well.
I like how you do that, because you like that Brutali vid you just put out. Is that gone? That's gone public, isn't it now?
Yeah, just today.
I watched your Patreon one when it was on there, and I like how you do that. You hint towards the capabilities of the machine without opening yourself up. Like, obviously I fell foul of that, and that's nice and cleverly done. I like that. If you're saying about the 360, I've got the Insta 360 1X.
Yeah.
And I know you had that before the 1R, didn't you?
Yeah, I've got 2 of those at the moment.
Mate, mine's just crapped itself.
I've had no trouble. Really? I've had no trouble at all, but the last couple of outings, I've had trouble with both. And on that Brutali video, the first 40 minutes of me riding, it wasn't working. It wouldn't save the file. So if you notice, the first half of that video is just the onboard. There's no Insta360 stuff. It's not to the second half, after I stop, beat it with my hammer, then set off again, that I've got the Insta360 working. So I've had no trouble at all. But I think I haven't formatted the card for ages. I've just been deleting the file. So I've formatted the cards again, and I'm going to try again. But the R kept stopping as well. So I had trouble with both on that day. Yeah. So, but I think I've just deleted files. So I formatted everything, and I'm going to see how we go. But I've had no trouble at all up until that point. As his camera just stops again. There's the other one still going there, don't worry.
Right, cool.
Can I interject on on your Brutale review, which I also watched on your Patreon page, which is great, really enjoyed it. But isn't Crazy Horse an amazing place? I know, Bruce, you've been up there as well recently.
First time. Wow.
I mean, it's a way up there, isn't it, to Bury? But what a fantastic setup. If you happen to live in the east of England and you've not been to Crazy Horse, get down there. They've got such great machines, haven't they?
The bikes they've got on there. I mean, it's like a museum. It's history in the bike of the biking world right there in the showroom.
It is brilliant. And the other thing is, in normal times, I was lucky to go up last year and before the whole lockdown thing, and their restaurant is amazing. It's worth, and the meetups they used to do, that was one of the things that I thought we could do as a group, and I had suggested to them as well, is when we get back to some sort of normality, they have these meetups through the summer, like the last Thursday or something of the month. Right. We should go down, maybe stay over, and the four of us go down and do a meetup there and meet and greet some people, maybe, if they want to meet us. And we would just have great fun down there. They have a live band. It's a great atmosphere, a really good setup there.
Yeah, cool. Let's do it. Yeah, definitely.
That sounds brilliant.
Right. What was that question? RZ Ted, that was.
That's question number 3, wasn't it? Question number 3.
We're doing well, aren't we?
Chris Murphy, to all, do you know if Honda are going to be putting the Africa Twins power plant into the Rebel? Oh, I don't know anything about it.
Why would we know? Why would they do that?
I don't know. Chops is keeping quiet.
I don't know nothing about it. I have not even spoken to Honda. I've never had any dealings with Honda UK at all. So I certainly be the last person to know about that.
I had just started to hear from Honda, and then COVID hit. Literally, they said, "Right, we'll get you on the Goldwing," and then like the next day, COVID went, "Hello," and that's the last I've ever heard from them. What about you, Andy? Do you know anything about this then, do you? By your reaction?
I know absolutely nothing about it. I mean, I do have contact with Honda. I find them one of the more enlightened manufacturers, actually. So if you need some contacts, John, I'll
Okay, yeah. Okay,
I'm sure they're missing a trick if they're not talking to you.
Yeah, no.
But no, I don't know anything about the Africa Twin engine going in the Rebel. Not sure why they would do that.
Right, the second part of Chris's question is, when is the next challenge, like bike versus plane? We sort of covered that already. Yeah, we got ideas, but nothing's set yet. Too much going on. Pete English. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh God, what's he?
Hi guys, hope you're all well. These questions are for you all, including Dickie Vegas. Oh, I love that.
No, he's missed out. We'll save it for him.
They should be here in a minute, hopefully.
The Dickie Vegas thing, we have got to make run and run. I think
it will.
Dickie Vegas, brilliant. We all know what Andy gets up to when he has a few minutes to spare. But what do you want? That
reminds me, John. I got this that you lent me. Quickly, move on.
Oh, folks, if you didn't catch that, just rewind, have a little look, and then go back into some of Andy's office-based vids and have a little look in the back. It's hilarious. This has been going on months. Anyway, but what do you all do to recharge the batteries? Is it as simple as turning off the Wi-Fi? Okay, so what do we do to chill out?
Ride bikes.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Just turn the cameras off. Yeah, same. Yeah. I just go without the cameras on and just ride and relax. Honestly, that is my wind down. That is my wind down.
I hadn't done that in so long, apart from when I used to like commute into London. That was about the only time I rode when I didn't have a camera rolling. And I think maybe 2 weeks ago, I went for a ride I rode up to Scotland and I didn't film any of it. And I did all the backcountry. I used Simon Weir's routes from that, because I had him on a podcast. Yeah. So I plotted one of his routes all the way to Scotland without touching the motorway. No cameras. Oh man, it was mega. I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, brilliant.
I didn't realise you hadn't filmed that. That's great. That's really good. And
I was looking forward to seeing that.
By the way, as well, my chill out is exactly the same. Just go for a blast. Usually on a low powered, my Royal Enfield or something around the lanes, and it's just fab. It's a great way to get your head sorted out, isn't it?
Or fly, of course, Andy, I would imagine, is another way you
That's the other thing. I've been doing a bit of that of late, actually. It's been great because we've had some nice weather of late, and I have taken a few days out and gone and done a bit of flying. It's been brilliant. That's a complete change of... It's interesting how you relax by having to think about something in detail. Like when you're riding your bike, it's not like you're thinking about what you're going to do for tea next week, is it? You're thinking about riding the bike, but it is, in an odd way, it relaxes you.
Yeah,
flying's just...
Yeah.
I'm very envious of that, Andy. That must be such a feeling to be like in control and flying through the air like that. Must be mega.
Well, Bruce, mate, if you want to go up any time, if there's some good weather, I know you're a man that can do things on short notice. I'll give you a shout and we'll go up and fly.
Beautiful.
You think he'll fit in, though? You think he'll fit in the plane?
Have you got Hercules?
It'll get in, no problem. It's whether it'll take off the ground, but we'll find out.
Extra long runway. Might take a bit of cornfield at the end of the runway just to get in.
You cut me deep, man. Wow.
I've seen that thing. It's tiny.
Yeah, I don't know if we both get in that.
I'd love to take you up, Bruce. That would be a pleasure.
Hey, what about the plane?
Oh, here we go.
Is there such a thing as free speech anymore? Oh, blimey.
Is this Pete still?
This is still Pete. This is still Pete.
Well, there never was there? That's the point of that. No,
I think
probably not.
Yeah, it's all very political these days, isn't it? It's just
well, there is. If you see our WhatsApp group, some of the things Bruce posted there.
I think know your audience is key, isn't it? Know your audience is key, and I think the beauty of social media used to be that people could say exactly what they want, and I think these days, because the reach of social media is so big, you've got to have a bit of personal responsibility, and you have to have a little bit of common sense. People will take offence to absolutely anything if they don't know you, so I think you just need to exercise some know your audience. That's all. That's all we'll say.
Or just be prepared for whatever might come your way. I mean, even I make a big effort ever since, again, I thought I was going to make a go of my YouTube channel. I made the conscious effort that I would dumb down my personality so that it didn't upset people if I didn't have to, and make it fairly family friendly, wouldn't swear, all that sort of thing. Yeah. But even then, so and you risk coming across a bit of a boring git, which I appreciate. I do come across like that on my channel sometimes, but even then, I still get an awful lot of flack. So I mean, you just can't win.
Yeah. No, you can't. Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Right. Well, next one, another one of Pete's. He's got loads here. What would you willingly go to prison for? Like me. Wow. Willingly go to prison for. I think if I 100% believed in something and absolutely believed that whatever it was the right thing to do, but if there was the chance of going to prison for it, it would depend what it was. But if I felt it was serious enough, I think I would stand by my conviction for that.
Agreed. But what would that thing be there? I
don't know because there's nothing at the moment that I can think of.
No, I can't.
You're going to go to prison for that I don't agree with. Well, I think
there is one thing you'd surely get to prison for willingly, which I would, and the only thing I can think of is if somebody was threatening your kids and you had to kill that person.
100%.
Then you'd certainly do that. Other than that, nothing else.
Absolutely. But then you're not going to go. Well, I suppose you can go to prison for that.
Oh, you can, yeah.
Common law, you have the right to defend your life or anyone. No, it's common law. Or any person has the power to use self-defense, and that includes killing somebody if your life or another person's life, you honestly have a honest held belief that their life is in danger. And if you don't interact, then...
Yeah, but it's a bit of a sketchy one, isn't it? If it all went wrong in court, you could potentially end up going to prison.
What I'm saying is I'd take that risk.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree, same, ditto. Absolutely. There you go, Pete.
Don't tell my kids, though.
Yeah, I know. Oh, here's a good one. I like this one. You've been given the chance to go back to your 20s. Knowing what you know now, what would be the first 3 things you would do?
There are no non-sexual answers to these, are there? That's the problem.
Not for you, no. Wow, back to my 20s. Anyone got anything that jumps out?
Invested a bit of Google and might be some wise investments to be made if you did that. Yeah, but
start Facebook. I would do that.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else apart from make money.
Yeah, do you know what?
Maybe
20s...
look after my hair a bit more. Try to do something. Don't you?
Yeah, use less hair products. I shouldn't have dyed my hair blonde. I wouldn't have done that.
Do you know what? My 20s are a total blur. I became a dad at 21. Then it was sort of first couple of years of my 20s were just like, oh my good God, what the hell has happened? Not in a bad way. It was just hard work, isn't it? When you become a parent for the first time.
You almost write off that first 5 years or 10 years of your life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Really,
and then
20 years.
Mid-20s, I moved to London and joined the old Bill, and it was just...
God, blimey, Bruce,
It's just like a roller coaster.
Oh, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, look, I'm only 28. Sheesh. Stone. Yeah, so I don't know. I think my 20s for me were just a massive learning curve, but I'm glad I went through it. I don't know if I'd change it. No. Andy?
Oh, what exactly was the question? What would we change, or would it be advice? What was the question?
If you could go back to your 20s, knowing what you know now, what would be the first 3 things you would do?
And it can't be a sexual answer. Okay.
It can be if you want. Don't worry. There's no watershed
Yeah, it can be, yeah.
I've limited myself to not give you those answers, which I really would like to. I don't know. That's a tricky one, isn't it? I would read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I would do
Never
that.
heard of it.
Well, you need to read it, Rich. You need to. God, that's a tell. You said Sophia's having a.
We're easily mistaken.
I'd read that.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right?
Yeah. Other than that, I think be more. The trouble is, when you're young, you don't really have great self-confidence, do you? And you sort of. I've always been relatively confident, but when you're young, you don't necessarily. You've got no proof that you're a valid individual because nothing's happened to your life yet, much, has it? So I think having a bit more self-belief would be. You
good. Think you know it all, don't you, in your 20s? But you just don't.
You do, but I think inbuilt you've got. Everybody has this sort of self-doubt, but as you get older, I think you do. There's no doubt. I mean, I appreciate my parents as I get older because I think as you get 100%. Older, you get wiser.
Yeah,
and I think maybe that's it. Maybe I would have listened to older people more when that's because you can learn a lot from them. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's true, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a lot of things my dad used to say when I was young that I used to just turn around and go, Jesus, you're old. Just shut up. Don't be ridiculous. And now I'm saying them, and it's like, oh God, right. It's happened.
It's amazing how you turn into your dad, isn't it, over the years?
100%. Yeah.
John,
did you get an answer?
Yeah, I don't know. Look after my hair better and
that's a great
make
answer.
some wise investments. That's my answer.
Right, Pete's got another question, but I think we've done like 4 from him, so that'll do for just. Cheers, Pete. David Bucholtz. Is TMF related to Brian Cox? As he has his affinity stare off to a T. Oh, that's that picture we did of the 3 of us on the bridge.
On the bridge.
Do you remember on the bridge at Toro?
Yeah.
I used that picture as the sort of post picture, and Andy's doing the stare off into the distance.
As you would if you were with you lot.
I've not seen you crack a beer not seen you take a sip for a little while, Bruce. Actually,
what's going on?
Come on.
I'm on my second can. Look,
the second
I'm
can.
On the second one.
I'm on number 4, I think, here.
Bollocks.
Exactly. What a lightweight.
Yeah, but you're drinking Apple Tango. That's not beer.
Lidl's finest cider.
That's what my daughters drink. I'm not joking.
Lightweight. I'm a lightweight.
Right, next one. Andy Bowen, motorbike tourer. It's honestly like looking at Take That. Dads. What I think we really need to see is a track day where you're all in the same group and see who's the Marquez. Ooh, that would be an idea. That would be an idea for us all to do.
It might be for you 2 track demons.
I did a track day I was just there on Wednesday at Brands Hatch with Bennett's. It was their first customer only track day.
Yeah, they said you broke the bike.
Oh, it's my bike. I took the tractor. I took the tractor.
Bruce. I was talking to Bennett's earlier in the week, a sponsor of my channel, and they said it's a pleasure to have you.
It was great fun, but they tried.
And
to
you got your knee down, I hear.
Obviously. They tried to put me in the advanced group, and I was like, "Look, A, I'm on a tractor, and B, no, I'm shit. I need to be in the novice." There we go, B moto. So they put me. I did the first session in the intermediate, and then they kindly whacked me into the novice, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
So they saw how bad you were in
intermediate. Yeah. They saw how crap it was and went, right, get down there. Into that,
yeah, you're right. Get back.
Yeah. But
I think we should do it, but with a spin. We have to do it on each other's bike. So I'll take Chops' H2. You can have my Panigale.
Yeah.
Can I have a tractor? I'll stick with the tractor. No problem. Thanks. McGuinness was there. John McGuinness was there, and I felt like I felt like I did at school. You know, when you don't want to go and talk to people, and I was just like, "Oh, it's John McGuinness. I can't talk to him." And like Luke from Bennett's was like, "Come up and have a chat." And I'm like, "No, I can't do it. I felt such a twat.
They didn't want you to do an interview there. Do an interview with John for part of you. Was you videoing it? Was you? Is there a video to come of the track?
Yeah, there will be. Yeah, no, I did
cool.
film some of it. Yeah, when I was there. But it's hard because you can't wear the helmet camera.
No, yeah, exactly.
I didn't put enough thought into how I could, because obviously you can have cameras on the bike, but then I'd need to have some way of recording the audio, you know, from the helmet mic, which I could have done, but I just didn't put enough thought into it. So it's just like a vlog basically.
Oh,
so.
I look forward to that one.
You could do a voiceover. You could voice over it afterwards, couldn't you?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Right, next one, David Clockton. If you all went away together and the hotel cock up your rooms, and it left you 2 double beds, who'd you double up with? knowing that you'd all just had a curry. Oof. Well, I've got to say, I think I would either take you, Andy, or Dickie Vegas because
I don't need these neural pathways.
No, but you're both a little bit smaller in physical stature. So, like, if John and I were in the same bed, there ain't going to be much room, is there?
That's just horrible. Move on.
No, you've got to answer it.
Easy.
Come on, you've got to answer. Who would you share a bed with?
I would rather die.
Why? Are you homophobic? Is that what it is?
No, I just don't fancy you lot.
Don't need to fancy. We're just sharing a bed.
I've often wondered, because I do look a bit gay, and I've often wondered whether I am. But the trouble is, I've never actually spotted a bloke that I fancy. So I'm guessing I'm possibly not.
You're possibly not there, do they?
Yeah. Says the man with the butt plug on his office work desk.
Is that what it is?
You just got a paperweight out, didn't you? Elaborate paperweight.
Got a diamond on it and everything.
It's a doorknob, isn't it? Is that not just a doorknob? Oh, blimey, there's another one. Ashley Wright, shag, marry, avoid. Sheesh. Oh, is that... No, that's not us. That is, like, who would you shag, who would you marry, who would you avoid? But not out of the 4 of us.
Avoid all, clearly.
No, if you had your choice... Shag, marry,
avoid.
avoid.
Now. I don't want this in my head.
Well, it's obviously my wife, and to be honest, avoid my wife. Yes. You're not answering that question then? Nope. John?
No, move on. Just move on.
It's horrible.
Okay, there's another. Blimey, there's a theme here. No usernames left. Would you rather watch your parents have sex every night for a year or join in once? Oh my God. You people are wrong.
Who comes up with these are your patrons? Yes, these people are.
These are my patrons.
What sort of people do you attract, Bruce?
Although, right, there's some people who've left some comments. Ollie Rye, his comment, Jesus Christ. David Moore, TMF should answer that one, pissed. Ashley Wright, what have you been smoking? Right.
Yeah.
Anyone going to answer that?
It's just unanswerable, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just unanswerable.
I just don't want to think about it. Yeah.
Can you ban him from being a Patreon?
God, no. I've got bills to pay. Shush.
You've got carrots to buy.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. There we go. Ollie Rye, out of all of you, who is Captain Faff?
Ooh. I would say Richie, isn't he?
No, I think when... I don't want to point the finger, but I think we wait on you, John, don't we? At Toro.
No, behave.
We're not waiting for you.
No.
I think we wait. It's between Bruce and Rich, I think.
Me?
And as Rich isn't here, I was being polite.
I'm not a faffer, me. I'm a get on with it. I'm always getting held up by other people. That's what I always think, anyway.
Yeah. I agree, John. It's between Bruce and Rich, isn't it? And as Bruce is here, we should go with Rich.
I'll tell you, the way to answer it is who got away last on the planes v bike thing when we all set off. Who was the last one to pull away? I think that was you, Bruce. Actually,
I think it was.
I
think it was.
Me and Rich.
No.
Well, yeah, no, but you were ready to go, weren't you? And you had a lot of faffing to do anyway. But on the bike, I think it was you. You were last to pull away, Bruce. I'm sure.
Was I?
Yeah, I think you were. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Maybe
you were
it's
the
me then.
because you caught me up, didn't you? You overtook me because you caught me up.
No, I was doing the speed limit.
Go on, you can tell the truth now.
In that case, I'm Captain Faff.
You're Captain Faff. You are Captain Faff.
I'm discovering things about myself here. David Hemmings, to you all, if you did not do what you do now, what would you like to do? Jeez. Ooh. Wow. Ooh.
No porn-related answers again, I assume.
What's porn?
Isn't it great, though, Bruce, that you and I can probably genuinely say this is the thing that I would really most like to be doing? So how lucky are we, or how fortunate are we?
Well, yeah, that's the thing I'd like to do is pack in the day job and do this full time, really. That's what I'd like to do.
What's stopping you, John? Go for it.
I've got bills to pay.
Details.
I get that. I totally get that. I totally understand, John. Absolutely 100%. But I was kind of forced in a way, but you still have to. You got to make that decision.
Not in a way, Bruce. You're fired, mate.
Well, no. I mean, it was it was. I could have quite happily just not done this anymore and carried on with my day job. That was the choice. Do I continue with my job, or do I make videos for YouTube? But for me, it's I get more out of this than I did out of my day job. Was by that point was just a job. So, you know.
Yeah. So, and that's exactly the same with me. And that if I was put in the same situation you were put into, I think I'd probably do what you did, and I think I'd take the risk and try and make it just with the YouTube stuff. But it's difficult, though, isn't it? It is very difficult. My missus doesn't work because she's got some health anxiety, so she doesn't work. So it makes me really difficult if I was to give up the day job, you know?
Yeah, massively.
To come away from that security of a paycheck coming in every month, guaranteed. It doesn't matter, you know, what happens, the climate. You know, you've got a guaranteed paycheck coming in. So turning away from that is, it's difficult, isn't it?
No, I totally understand that. I mean, it was a leap of faith because although I'd put it out there that to sort of people within the industry and certain other people that this is the choice I think I'm going to make. I'm going to go, so I'm going to be going full time, and I'm prepared for, you know, to look for sponsorships and brand deals and all this sort of malarkey. When I made that decision to go, I wasn't even earning half of what I needed to earn just to cover the bills. But I'd had sort of 5 or 6 months to save some money up, so I had a buffer there. But then that didn't take COVID into account. Literally the week after I left the old bill, COVID hit.
Nightmare.
So, but I mean,
absolute nightmare.
It's worked out. You know, the channel's gone very well. Who knows what the future holds? A year down the line, I might have to get a job delivering for Tesco or Asda. I don't know.
This is the thing. You don't know what the future holds, do you? No. And as the COVID thing has shown us, there's whammies around the corner that you never know. I mean, your health might get you. I mean, I completely get where you're coming from, John. But you know, I used to work as a freelancer, so I was very much in the mindset that actually there's no such thing as a permanent job anyway. You might feel like there's a paycheck coming in every month, but before I was a freelancer, I was an employee, and I didn't get made redundant, but I was sort of there was a merger and there were 2 jobs going. I was the losing party of those 2 jobs, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And it just made me, and it shocked me because I thought I was pretty good at that particular job and I was the better candidate. It's just the other guy had been there for many, many years and I was a youngster at the time.
They'd have to pay more money to get rid of him, that was why,
Yeah, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth and I thought, blimey, you can really work your tits off for a company and then they can just shaft you with a swipe of a pen.
I completely agree. They don't give a shit about you. They do not give a shit about you. It's a false sense
of security is all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. But because I have been there, I mean, if that happens, I have been there quite a while, so I'd get fairly reasonable payout if I was made redundant.
Right.
So that would be the buffer to then try and go for it, you know. But
you definitely need that. I mean, when I decided to go for it, like Bruce, I basically saved up enough money that I knew I could live for a year with basically no income. Yeah. And it's very difficult to get to a position like that. But luckily, within like 6 months, I was easily making enough money to actually live, not have the same lifestyle as I had before, but you know, covering the bills, which is what really mattered. Yeah. Because you know, I enjoyed life a lot more as a result of being a YouTuber than I did working for some.
Yeah, but no, I'd love to do it. And it definitely, you know, I'm very lucky. I work from home I'm doing managing 2 videos a week and having a day job. I don't know how I'm doing that, to be honest, but at the moment it's okay. We can carry on like that. The biggest problem with it is holiday, of course. If there's a launch or going a trip with you guys, it's balancing that with 25 days holiday a year, when of course the missus wants to go away for a couple of weeks as well on holiday, and what's left trying to balance with picking up bikes, going out and ride. That's the most difficult thing about it, trying to make those 25 days stretch.
Count.
100%. I had Chase on Two Wheels on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and it was a bit of a reality check chatting with him, where he says that, I'm not surprised, he has a strict schedule that is 6 o'clock every day. He doesn't work weekends now.
I was stunned by that when I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, he literally, Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock in the evening, he stops. Whatever's going on, obviously he said if there's a launch coming up or a deadline for a vid, there's exceptions. But 99% of the time, 6 o'clock he stops, because he suddenly realised that he'd spent a few years working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, and his marriage.
Well, that's where you and I are now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it was like, do you know what? I do sort of exploit my wife, because she's really understanding. Overly understanding, really.
Is this a sexual thing again?
But
she must be really understanding.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of my mates are like, "Oh, how'd you get away with going away on this trip and that trip? My wife would never let me." And I'm like, well, I'd never have married my wife if she was the type of person.
Got the wrong wife. Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. I would never have been with Nikki if she was the type of person to turn around and go, "You're not doing that. You're not doing this." But at the same extent, I know I do pull too far the other way and don't give her enough of me time. So that's definitely something that I'm thinking I need to try and balance the scale a little bit more. Go on.
Well, at the moment, you're trying to launch the channel, aren't you? You've taken this on full time. You've got to put that extra effort in. You want to get 100%. To a position where you're a bit more comfortable. Yeah. So you're working towards it, aren't you? And now it's your job. It's your job to go away and do these things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
I dare say, when you get to Chase on Two Wheels level and you've got 1 million plus subscribers, maybe you can do 9 to 5.
It's maybe a bit easier.
And he has a team of people now, doesn't he? Which always amazes me how, again, it's about that relinquishing control thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then
I can imagine having a team of people working on my videos. That's just
But then it's, he couldn't. He's the first to say himself here, and sorry to bring it up, but Patreon has facilitated that. Patreon pays his team of people to work for him and produce the content. And if he didn't have that, even with 1 million subscribers, he wouldn't be able to. He employs a team of 3 people, 4 people,
something like that.
And that's a full-time job. So he has a massive commitment. But then he produces a lot of bespoke Patreon-only content for that.
Yeah, interesting that, isn't it?
His tiers are much higher. He's $10, $20, $50, even more, I think, on some. But you get a lot. I'm one of his patrons, but one of the lower tiers, and you get a lot for what you're paying.
I also think the American market is slightly different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, number one, it's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So you've got a bigger pool. It's weird that, isn't it? But I do think YouTube probably does promote the likes of us to UK-based people more so than it does US one.
I think you've got to look at people who've moved to other countries like Germany. People who've moved out of the UK to other countries. Channels seem to have died off because I don't know. I think it must be a YouTube thing that just doesn't present that content to people outside of that country so much. I think it's definitely.
It's interesting. Do you guys watch Moto Geo?
Yes. Yeah. Jamie.
I haven't, no.
Yeah, so he's a Brit based in LA, and he's got I think he's got a similar number of subscribers to me, so he's doing okay. But as a US YouTuber, that's not that good, considering the amount of effort and the production quality and so on that he puts in. So I wonder if there's some sort of nationality type thing here. I think you gravitate towards people similar to you. Don't you?
I think definitely.
I was trying to get
gravity. I need to have a slash. I'll be back in a moment.
Go on, man. No worries.
The age.
Get another beer while you're out.
It's funny about MotoGeo. I've been trying to get Jamie on the podcast, but it's one of those things. The only way I can get in touch with him is through, website contacts, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. And you don't know if they actually even ever receive it half the time.
You don't. More gone straight to the junk folder. You don't, you know. Yeah. The amount of stuff I find in the junk folder, which is actually good stuff, which is like opportunities. What's that in the junk? Get that out of the junk.
I've got a bit. I've stopped looking. I don't bother.
In the junk? Oh, there's all sorts of good stuff in the junk. You've got to look in the junk. Go through the bins.
It's junk in the
trunk.
No,
I get a lot of good stuff in the junk, which I would have missed otherwise. Yeah.
I've just seen the next question. This has got your name all over it. It'll be interesting to see what Andy says of this. But Roger Middleton, out of you all, who is the biggest blagger? I give you lamb chops.
Yeah, I have been known to be a bit of a blagger, I have to say. I have done quite well over the years on my blagging.
Mind you, Rich does well.
He does do very well.
He does do very well.
Gets
a lot of kit, doesn't he?
He does. He gets a lot of kit. But yeah, no, I have done quite well. I've done quite well over the years.
I think a lot of the sort of clothing-y types just look and they say, well, you're just a fat dad to me.
Well, look at me. It's the same thing for me. Do you know what I mean?
Not at all. You've got a bit of street cred there. I've got, I'm just like the fat bloke.
No, I'm not having it.
We're not giving you a jacket because it'll look shit.
I'm not having it. But it's difficult, isn't it? I started
John,
from a young age.
Hang on.
I can hear outside the door.
Right. Well, the first thing that comes to your mind then, Andy, question from Roger Middleton. Out of you all, who's the biggest blagger?
Oh, there's no doubt that Chopsy is the biggest blagger. Closely followed by Dickie Vegas.
Oh, I don't know. You do quite well on kit, Andy. Come on now. You
do, but I don't go out actively blagging it.
We've seen your garage.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, they probably offer it to you. The difference is I'm asking for it.
Definitely asking for it, but I don't know whether it's that.
Right, Darren Phillips. Sorry, did you finish, John? Apologies.
I'd finished. Talking to Dickie Vegas, where is he? I'll give him a WhatsApp poke.
Okay. Darren Phillips, not sure why, but Hey Hey We're the Monkeys song came to mind when I saw the photo of the four of us together. Oh, cheers, thank you. John Broadhurst. John's a good lad. John works on the bins, and him and the bin boys listen to the podcast every week. So hello to John and the lads. Keep doing what you're doing. Cheers. Question for us all. Who do you prefer to watch? TMF, Vida, Chopsy, or Potsy? Potsy, who's that? Is that me?
Potsy.
Or was that Potsy Media?
That must be you. That must be you,
isn't it? It's you. Teapot, Potsy.
Oh, right. Yeah, God, jeez, that was hard, wasn't it? That took me a while. No bullshitting or using TMF as an easy answer because he's the smallest. Oh, right, physical. Right, that's his smallest.
In what department?
Right, who do you prefer to watch? Right, TMF. Right, which one out of us do I prefer to watch?
That's tricky.
I'll go last if I may answer last. With this.
No worries. I'll go first. I prefer Rich's content because I like the cinematic type stuff. I like the sort of longer vid with a story to it, and I like how Rich does that on his.
He does
takes you on a wee journey. I quite like that.
Good answer.
I mean, he's not even here.
Richie's not here, so we could all just. That's a good. But the way I view YouTube is it's on the lavatory most of the time, or in the bar. Yeah. So it's almost like 10 minutes here and there type thing.
Yeah.
So I'm more of a shorter viewer, as it
TMF.
were. So, well, I watch both your stuff, so it's hard to say because I do watch all of both of your videos. So
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I watched barely any of yours.
I've noticed. No, so I do watch, so, and probably more so for Richie because of that same reason, because it's more longer, so I'm more of a quick fix on the YouTube. So if a video's good and I think I'm really enjoying that, I'll come back to that later on,
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time I'm sort of 10, 15 minutes, as long as my ass can sat on the toilet really until I've got off. So, I'm going to cop out a little bit, but it'd be one of your two guys, I guess, because of that.
I'm the same. I think YouTube as a form factor more favours shorter films for sure.
Absolutely.
And although as a YouTuber, doing longer videos that get viewed is a great thing because you get more watch time. I think most people, if they see, and this is, I do genuinely, I watch all your output and Rich's as well, but I do find myself skipping through Rich's sometimes because when I see it's 40 minutes long, I just think, have I got 40 minutes?
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I don't tend to go for the longer one. So if Richie was to do a 10-minute one, I'd definitely watch all of it.
Yeah.
But,
so you're probably the same, Andy, but if I put out a long video, I can be guaranteed the viewing figures won't be as good as a shorter 100%. One. I think that was part of the problem 100%. With the planes versus bike thing. It was such a long video, people were just put off watching it. We really should have taken your advice and broken that down over several episodes. You did say. So you live and learn.
Yeah, but what does he know? What do you know, Andy? What do you know?
I think 10 minutes is the sweet spot. And I know if Richie was here, he would say, and where the hell is he, by the way?
Yeah,
but he would say
you may have answered.
That his viewers love longer videos, and that's why he does them. But I think he's missing a trick. I think he would find he gets far more viewers if he did 10-minute views.
I think he would, but I don't know if Rich is that worried about the numbers game. Like if you've obviously, Andy, you were at Wild Bad Weekender. John wasn't, was he? But like Rich has an enviable position in that Rich has a very devoted following. He's got a really good community going on there who watch all our channels. But, I think Rich, maybe it's because he's slightly lower in the subs count at the moment. I think he should have way more than he does have. But he's got a very tight following. He's got great interaction.
I agree with that.
People will meet up with him and go for breakfast, and I think that's awesome. I think that's amazing.
Well, when we did that social hub thing, you had people bringing in bottles of whiskey and stuff. It's like,
isn't that just
where's
being
my
a
whiskey, guys?
They're just more friendly, aren't they?
I kind of.
That is partly true.
Yeah, well, it's partly true. Yeah, definitely. But I think Rich just accepts that fact that he's done shorter vids, and I've kind of done that before, where I've done a shorter vid, and then you're sort of established following community who've been there for a lot longer. They are all like, I was expecting more. Where's the 30, 40,
I think the answer is to vary it and do some long ones and some short ones.
Which is what I'm trying to do now, yeah.
I think you get your new subscribers with the shorter ones, and we all know that bike reviews get in new punters. Yeah. And then those people that decide they like to watch your stuff, that, have some resonate with you, then they'll watch your longer stuff.
True.
But I get fewer views on my longer stuff for sure. But you do get great view retention.
But does that actually do anything, the view retention though? Does that actually count for anything?
Who knows?
I don't know, because like my channel seems to be up and down like a yo-yo. It's almost like the algorithm can't cope with the bike review vids and the podcast vids, because they're totally separate.
Very different.
The podcast vids are 2.5, nearly 3 hours long. I don't get anywhere near the views on them that a review vid will get, but people who tend to watch the podcast will naturally watch, even if they're only watching 20%, they're watching 15, 20, 30 minutes. That's sort of my average viewer retention for a podcast is 25, 30 minutes, which is phenomenal. Yeah, on a review vid, you might get 50% or 60% viewer retention, but that's only 8 minutes or 9 minutes or sometimes 5 minutes, and it's like the algorithm can't figure out what's going on here. So
I think the trick is you just have to make the video as long as it needs to be, and don't worry about it.
That's what they say, isn't it?
I'm producing the content I want to produce, and I'm trying to make the podcasts are what they are. It's just us chatting, and I'm perfectly happy with that. And then my reviews, I'm trying to make a bit shorter and just bring up the production quality a little bit, because just for me, my own, just for my own self, really.
But you don't get as many views. Obviously, Andy gets the most views. I get the next, and then because it is based on your sub count to a degree.
Well, there is a correlation, although it's not necessarily.
Yeah, but if you look at because there's also a figure I saw the other day, and it said the amount of views. So every 1,000 views, you'll get one sub or something like that. There's a figure I saw in studio which tells you that, and you must be getting your subs per 1,000 views must be much higher than mine, because you're getting about a similar amount of subs to I'm getting at the moment.
Me,
but I'm getting loads more views than you. Yeah. So there's something there perhaps with so if you were getting the same views as me, you would potentially be getting 3 times as many subs per day as I'm getting. So, but whether we're getting too technically into the YouTube thing, but
it's not as attractive as you, is he? That's the thing.
But he's getting more subs than me. Maybe I don't get it.
I don't know. Like I seem to have little spikes. There's the odd vid that I mean. That is true. Who cares? But we do, because
our viewers don't care. Yeah, we do, but our viewers watching this don't.
There is quite a lot of narcissism in. I mean, it is all about that, isn't it, in YouTube? It's just part and parcel of it. You can say you don't care about views and subs, but of course you do. Of course it's.
Well, of course we do. But the thing that I kind of learned over doing this for a few years now is that when I originally had, say, 10,000 views, I thought, gosh, subs rather. I thought, gosh, if I had 100,000 subscribers, that'd be amazing. You get so many views you're done. But then I got to 100,000 views, and I was maybe getting twice as many views as I did when I had 10,000. And what you realise is you get a lot of subscribers that don't actually watch you; they just subscribe and then don't unsubscribe.
Right. Okay.
There is a sort of a loose correlation between number of views and number of subscribers you've got, but it's not necessarily a linear one. And it just so happens that if people like you, they'll subscribe, and if they like you, they'll watch your stuff. So it's a bit like saying, guardsmen on Troop in the Colour faint because they don't like the smell of the melting tarmac. No, it's because the sun's out and that melts the tarmac and it makes them faint. So it's there's not a one-to-one correlation between number of subs and views. Classic case of that is your mate Chase on Two Wheels. Look at the number of views he gets for an average video. He gets less than you do probably, and he's got 1 million subscribers.
He said that has changed over the last couple of years. That has dramatically changed on YouTube, and that they used to get way more views, but now he doesn't get anywhere near the views he used to get, even though his sub count is higher.
Yeah,
and I think YouTube has just changed, hasn't it, over the last couple of years? It's maybe because there's more people on there. There's actually more content, maybe.
True.
Anyway, right.
Come on, next question, Bruce. Next question. I don't know what this question was.
Where did we answer it?
I don't know if people don't know. Where's Richie? Because I've got to go at 8, so I've only got another 15 minutes or so. We've got to get you.
And we'll be slagging you off when you've gone for next.
You will be. You will be.
Do you know we are not even a third of the way through the clan questions?
We've been terrible at answering the questions.
We have. Right, let's speed this up then. Right, the last one was who would we watch out of all our channels, or who do we watch out of all our channels? Next one, Mark Monday.
I didn't answer that.
Oh, did you not? Right, over to you then.
Yeah, we did answer this. We did answer this one.
I thought you did, Andy. Yeah. Mark Monday, you have to give up one. Never ride again or never ride again.
Blimey.
That's a difficult one. I'm not answering it.
Well, that assumes that you're doing both types of riding, Bruce, which is still...
Yeah, draw a discreet veil over that.
Move on.
D. Simon Nines, based on the time you've ridden together, oh Jesus, how would you describe each other's riding styles?
Nutters, maniacs, all of them.
Right, Andy, surprising, because I assumed, because on your vids you're not particularly quick. To me, you seem not lacking confident, but a little bit apprehensive. Your earlier vids, it came across that you maybe were a little bit apprehensive on the bike, but then we met up, and you're actually a much better rider than you make yourself out to be.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're not the fastest, but you are definitely a lot more proficient than certainly I thought you would be.
We said that after Toribus, didn't we? We
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
want to make his head swell, but we said, you were much faster, because we were going fast on some of those, when we said, it was a quick pace,
roads.
wasn't it? It was a quick pace, and we were surprised how quick Andy was.
You trying to lose me, you swines.
But you were quicker than expected.
Definitely. Chops, I mean, you're exactly what it says in the tin. You're a good rider. You're fast. You're definitely much more technically efficient than I am in terms of I can't wheelie on command. There's a lot of stuff that you can do that I can't do by any stretch of imagination. I think you're more comfortable riding faster on the road than I am now. I think I used to be like you, but I've had a fair few crashes of late, and that has dramatically slowed me down.
Yeah.
Just I can't afford for that sort of shit to happen, so I'm sort of trying to minimise risk. Rich is he's fast. He's definitely fast on the road, and he's good off road. Like he's got a lot of experience in his youth from off road, hasn't he? So he just seems to be there. I think we're quicker on the road, but he's definitely proficient. Be interesting to see what he's like on the track, to be honest.
Yeah.
But hey.
Well, they're back to that again. Go on then, John. What about you?
No, I do agree with what you said. I know we've had this similar conversation before. I think we may have had the similar question when we did with the podcast with me. So, as we said, Andy is faster than you think. I think with you, Bruce, you are quick. You are quick. You are a quick rider. I mean, I've been behind you at Torino, and I was pushing it to try and stay with you. So I haven't ridden with you since then. We need to meet up and go for a little spin, I think, at some point. But I think you are quick. So whether you've slowed down since that, obviously I didn't go Toro last. Was it last year? Was it this year? Was it last year? It was this year?
This year.
Yeah, it was this year. Yeah. I couldn't make this year, but when we did the
I've
year
still
before,
not edited that. I've still not edited that
No,
video.
yeah, no wonder Linda's gone out of business. You haven't done any videos.
My blooming audio, the audio on my GoPro.
Everyone says, I don't know why people don't just use the Hero 4. All I hear is people got problems with their audio. Hero 4, that's all you need.
Yeah,
Perfect.
true.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, unless you've slowed down since then, you're still quick, Bruce. So,
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you who is quick, Shaff and
I both those guys are really fast. Completely.
Yeah, they make you realise how quick.
Yeah.
And they're either quick or stupid.
Yeah, exactly. And Two Wheels and a Ponytail especially impressed me about. She's a bit of a demon on a bike, and you watch her off-road videos as well. She's sort of fearless, even though she has hurt herself. So I did think, well, she hasn't hurt herself yet.
That's exactly what I thought.
She doesn't care, but she's hurt herself now, and she's still fast. Yeah, she's quick. She is really quick. And
I think that is what it's about. At the end of the day, it's fear, isn't it? And
exactly.
Self-preservation. So Bruce saying he's slowed down because he's feeling a bit risk-averse.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always tried to ride in a safe manner. And when I'm riding with you guys, I am on the edge of what I can do.
Yeah.
I just don't want to hurt myself. And it is easy to hurt yourself.
I've come off before. I've had crashes, and I think if you can understand why you've crashed, it helps. But if you come off and you think, I don't know what I did wrong there, it slid out from under me. I've done that a million times before. What happened? Yeah. That is what kills your confidence when you don't know what went wrong. You can't work it out. If you've went over some gravel and you slide off, it's like, well, I hit some gravel. It's very clear what went wrong. But if you're not sure what happened, I think that's what really kills your confidence.
What is your biggest fear of meeting stuff on the road? Is it gravel?
It's more because I ride a lot of small lanes and small tracks. It's more oncoming traffic, I think, more than anything else. Yeah, I think the gravelly stuff. As long as you follow where the cars have been, there's normally always a clear path through any amount of gravel, so you can you can negotiate that. But if it's quite a tight bend and the car is coming the other way, I'm not a lunatic. No, I always ride within a speed I think I can stop. But if that car was really shifting, then
or on your side of the road.
On your side of the road, you could have to take evasive action. Sometimes those little lanes, there's just no room to take evasive action. You'll be through a field. You'll be testing your off-road ability on the H2. So. Yeah, that I think probably is my biggest worry is oncoming traffic or tractors. I've had a few times where you've been down a lane, there's been a huge tractor coming down, and they've got all the spikes sticking out the front. Yeah, exactly. And you think, Christ, I do not fancy it'll be the end of you. No matter what you're wearing, you go into that, and that's game over.
End of.
So,
see, for me, So go on.
No, I was finished anyway. Go
on. I don't think. Well, I'll put my hand on my heart. I never rode knowingly in a reckless fashion. I always thought I can always stop in the distance I can see to be clear. I can, absolutely. Hand on my heart.
Agree.
But things have happened where I thought I could stop and I haven't been able to. And even though I've reacted, I've not been able to stop in that distance that I thought was clear. And that has been the biggest impact on my riding, is that fuck, I need more distance. I can't be as quick as I was going. So that has slowed me down a lot. Just knowing that maybe I don't know, maybe it's just I'm not as quick at reacting as perhaps I thought I was.
But do you practice braking?
Yeah, I've done all that. Yeah, 100% done all that. And to be honest, I've done I did my police bike course, but that was actually slower than how I'd normally ride. It was a slower speed than I'm used to riding out with my mates, and that was a big reality check. In that, the police top class instructors are like, we are cracking on here, and I'm like,
no, you're not.
This is like one-handed. I'm slower than I would go on a normal ride with my mates, and it's like, fucking hell, that's a massive reality check, definitely.
Yeah. No, I always ride well. I think it's riding well within what you consider to be your ability, isn't it? You can't ride like you're on a track day. You have to ride. You have to on the road. You have to ride at a certain level, so you've got time to react. Time to take avoiding action, time 100%. To brake. But I think you're right on the braking though. Bikes don't stop very fast. They're not like a car. They take a long time to stop.
Yeah. Which is what I said about the practicing, because it's interesting to try and see how quickly you can stop.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't stop quick. They take a lot to haul them up. So, and I've been caught out a few times with that. And 9 times out of 10, I think if you're in that situation, it comes down to avoiding. You won't stop. It's a case of avoiding, picking the gap, taking that path. And
that doesn't always work, as my pheasant incident.
No, exactly.
I picked a line and it didn't work.
Yeah, no.
That was the one line not to pick, Bruce. The one line.
Jeez. Anyway, never mind. Right, Nick Turnbull, he's asked the same. When's the next bike versus plane? It's coming. It will happen. Don't believe me.
Well, maybe not bike versus plane, but something. Yeah.
Maybe Andy takes Bruce flying. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, Dave Moore.
If what I've just heard about Spain now wanting, or we having a quarantine coming back from Spain, I might suddenly have a free week next week. So,
yeah, right, yeah.
What's that all about? I've not heard that.
I just had a phone call. I muted us where I think my wife just told me that apparently if you go to Spain, you have to be in quarantine there when you come back. And as I was due to go to Toro on Monday, I think my trip might have just been cancelled.
Oh, really?
Shit. I'm taking a tour out there on the 12th of August.
Not now, you're not.
I don't know what the details are, but that was breaking news as we're recording on Saturday evening.
Jesus. I'm in Slovenia on Thursday. I fly out to Slovenia for a week.
Well, they haven't got an outbreak, though. You'll probably be all right with that one still.
No. Oh, Jesus. Right, okay. Right, Dave Moore, for the bunch of us, you're planning a tour as a team of 4, but there's only one room to take 3 of your own bikes. So, who do you give the rental bike to, and what horrendous bike do you make them take? Right.
Well, Rich would get the rental, wouldn't he? Because he's not here.
Exactly, yeah. Rich can have it, and he can have the Super Ducar.
Yes. Your specific broken one.
As soon as he likes it so much.
The one Bruce broke, yeah.
That's going to be interesting to see if he does think differently once he doesn't get the opportunity to play with the settings and
with his mittens on. Trying to use the controls with his mittens on.
Right, that'll do us for that one. Are you all right for time chops? That's 5-2.
Yeah, no, 5-2. I was hoping Rich is going to join. It'd be nice to see him at least for I've got to go. I've tried to WhatsApp him. He's not answering.
I'm going to have a quick pee. Give me 2 ticks.
No worries.
Oh, crikey, we've got no question to answer. This is terrible.
Yeah, give us a question before you bugger off.
I'll give you another question. Darren Cresswell. First question was bikes versus planes. When is the next rematch? Well, we've discussed that. Question 2. What about a weekend old gang festival where all fans can meet up and have a few beers, a couple of bands, maybe even let Vida sing a bit? Obviously after C is done.
We don't go that far.
I think Rich has got that, hasn't he? With Wild Bad Weekender.
You go for your slash, Bruce. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
right,
go
you
on.
do that.
Well, it's something we've spoken about before anyway, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, John, don't he go on?
Oh, he don't shut up, does he?
These things, 2 hours long. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
We've done 5 questions.
Oh, incredible. Anyway, what do you think about a big meet-up then?
I think it's definitely should be on the cards. Not this year, obviously.
No.
Hopefully next year. I know it's something that may have even happened this year if it hadn't been for the C word. So I know it's something we spoke about. It's getting the venue. We even had a potential venue, perhaps, didn't we, on the cards? So.
Yeah. Plus, there's that crazy horse option I mentioned.
Yes,
I'm sure we could pack them up.
Yeah,
they've got a ready-made meeting there that we could just tag along to.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? So we should definitely do something next year, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. That would be fun.
Absolutely.
It's great. It's great meeting the punters, so to speak, isn't it? But the trouble is, if you do something yourself, I mean, I often get asked. I don't know if you do. Are you going to do a meetup?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And I quite like the idea. But you just don't know how many people are going to turn up, do you? I mean, if it's like 5 people turn up, fair enough, you can manage that.
Could it?
Yeah, but if 500 turn up, the police are going to want to know about it, aren't they? So what do you do then?
Well, I think if we all did one together, we could guarantee that there'd be a decent turnout,
I hope so. Yeah. I don't know whether you'd have to do a ticketed affair so you knew how many people were turning up or something.
He's back now. He's back now.
Oh, that was quick. Didn't take him long, did it?
So they say, yeah.
So anyway, answered that. Next one.
What we're saying about that then? Are we going to do one?
Yeah, we do. We're going to want to do something. Yeah, we want to do something.
Watch a video back, Bruce.
Right, I will do. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Right, Jolene Darren Edwards. It's Cobra Builder. Hi, Bruce. Darren, Cobra Builder here. Out of all of you, when you do a joint venture, who do you have to edit the most? I.e., who doesn't shut up talking?
That's an easy one, isn't it?
Go on, who's that?
Andy's the man who talks, isn't he?
I was just thinking, Christ, it's me, isn't it? Because when I've edited our joint stuff, there's no one that's jumped out at me that I've thought, oh Christ, Jesus, got to cut lots out there. Maybe
we've done one, haven't we? We've done more than one, haven't we?
We all talk a lot. I think that's the whole point, isn't it?
Well, we're obviously the nature of the industry, isn't it?
What I loved, Andy, was when we did the Torah trip and we all did the editing. It is the way you sort of go, this is take one. This is all the little bit you put in before you start recording about where you are, and this is.
I've got memory issues, mate. I have to do that.
That's brilliant. I did chuckle at some of that.
Admit it. You've copied that technique.
No, I should do. I'm not that organised. I still just sort of go for it and think, certainly with the external recorder, I forgot external
with
recorder.
The audio.
I capture some bike noise. Yeah. In the backpack,
I do that.
You just do a load of those, and you're like, "What? You got to try and listen to it and see what bike it was. Yeah. What bike is this? Oh, this is the Super Duke." So now I do a little bit Super Duke, final thoughts, But apart from that, I don't do it so much on the video point. But it did.
I do exactly the same. Yeah.
What I've started doing now actually is before every clip, if it's a video that's going to have a lot of clips in different locations, which I've done a few of those recently, then I will say, in fact, I write down roughly what I'm going to be saying, not word for word, but I have a bit of it. It's not a script, but an outline.
Okay, interesting.
And then I'll number each section. So when I record it, I'll say this is section 5, and then I'll do whatever I was going to talk about. It makes it so much quicker to edit.
Yeah, okay, that's that. Yeah, that is
worth doing. I'll tell you. And also, I sometimes do multiple videos at the same time on the same bike. So, for example, recently, I don't want to let too much of my secrets away here, but I've made a video about how to ride with a passenger, which was slightly annoying because I see Fortnite put one out last week and I just put mine in the can, so I was bloody annoyed. This was much better than mine. But anyway,
you're copying him again.
Well, that's it. That's the thing. So I did a video on that, but that was recorded on the back of the XR. So at the same time, I was recording the video about long-term review of the XR, and I did my section on riding with a pillion. So obviously, if you don't note which bits for what video, you get very confused.
I can't do that. I can't keep track of trying to do multiple things on one trip. I think
you should write it down.
I think both videos would be rubbish if I try and concentrate on just one. But when I rode up to ride the Brutale, I rode up on the XR and done a video on the XR. And then the video on, I was like, well, I can't remember specs about both these bikes. That was difficult to try and think. I've got to do 2 videos in one day, so I don't think I'll be able to do 2 videos on one ride. That's going to do. Say with different bikes,
It's got to be planned. You just got to be organised.
No, you're far too organised for me. I can
100%. Yeah, I'm with you on that, John. No, not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
I was impressed that you each went up to Crazy Horse in Bury. Let's face it, not a short ride for either of you.
Yeah.
And just rode rode one bike. I've been talking
you
to
rode
them
a lot. You rode a lot when you went, I expect.
Well, I've been talking to them for a while as well, and I've got a date in like November or something. I'm going up and riding 4 in one go. I mean, that does.
All at the same time, knowing you as well.
I was supposed to be doing 2, I think. I think when Steph initially contacted me, I was going to be doing 2. But when I turned up, Steph wasn't there. She had to work from home. So I dealt with another lady there.
That doesn't happen when Andy goes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He's always there for me.
They got the red carpet. Oh, hello. Hi. No, but I only took the one bike out, but I'm fine with that because I was in bits after the brutality.
I would have taken more than one bike, but because I was doing the video of the bike up on the XR, that was enough for me to think about. Otherwise, I probably would have taken.
That's true.
But then I took the brutality out. I was out for about. Well, I didn't get back there till gone about 3 hours. No, half 3. I think I got back.
Yeah, same with me. I got back about half 3. And then had a tour of all the stores and stuff. Yeah, I got home about. Well, I left at 6:15 in the morning, and I think I got back about 7. So it was a long day. It was a long day.
It's a long day.
It's an amazing
for
place out there.
Video.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, but I mean, it's got to be done.
I understand how it works. We've all done it. But my point is, the more efficient you can be, the better it works out.
Yeah, I'm envious of that with you, Andy. Absolutely, yeah. I wish I could do that. I've got to try and speed up my editing.
You will get there, Bruce. It's necessary.
Another one from Darren. Second question: out of all of us, who takes the most time getting ready, sprucing themselves up for a beer in the evening? Probably Mr. Vida, because he knows what he's doing.
Vegas,
yeah, it's got to be. He's got hair, isn't he? So it takes longer for a start, doesn't it?
It's Vegas every day of the week, isn't he? And he can't go by, like the last time we did the Toro thing. John, you weren't there. But the last time we did the Toro thing, we stopped at a hotel that had a big, massive grand piano in the foyer. And before,
he wasn't on there, was he?
Before we'd even checked in. We hadn't even checked in yet. He's still in bike kit, and he starts playing on the piano and singing.
Fantastic. Singing as well.
I thought you were going to say can't pass a mirror.
No, you can't.
And that as well. Brilliant. I'd love to be able to do that. When we did a launch at last year, I think it was, what was it? The Suzuki, the new Suzuki you didn't like, Andy.
I wouldn't have been invited to that.
Katana.
The Katana, and they did it at Cafe and Machine. And they had a piano in like there, and we're having breakfast. Wow. And of course, as soon as Rich came in, he's straight on the piano, and that was brilliant. I'd love to be able to do that. I'd love to be able to do that.
Absolutely,
fantastic skill.
And I said, "What was that you were playing?" He goes, "I don't know, I just made it up." It sounded bloody good to me.
It's phenomenal, isn't it? And his lockdown vids. You've seen the lockdown vids he did?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Loved it.
He is a talent. I don't want to. Good job he's not here. We could say, but he is
blowing smoke up his arse.
He's a talented fellow. Yeah.
It's a good job that he's such a prick.
Timekeeping now is not so good, is it?
Right, next one. The Bingley Wheeler, Dave. If YouTube folded tomorrow, how would you each move forward? Ooh.
That's easy for me. I've got a day job, so I'll just carry on doing that.
I'm foobarred. How would I move on? Well, I got my tours. So I think that I never used to think I could make a living out of tours, but they've gone, well, they could have gone very well this year, and there's certainly demand. So next year will be a bit of next year's going to be a tester, because I'm going to put a lot more tours out there next year, and I'll see how that does. But
how are you going to manage the tours as well as the videos, though, Bruce?
I've no idea, man, because Thursday I'm away to Slovenia for a week. I'm back for a week, then I'm off to the Pyrenees for a week, then I'm home for 2 weeks, off to the Picos for a week, home for a week, Picos for a week, home for 2 weeks, and then Canaries for a week. And I've got absolutely no idea how I'm going to edit videos and podcast.
You need something in the bag, don't you? You need to get a few videos in the bag, without a doubt.
I'm trying at the moment, but
yeah, I can't do that.
I can't produce enough content to backlog.
This is the problem that people don't understand. No one's going to feel sorry for us, because when you describe, to the Canaries and people,
poor man, poor guy.
Exactly. But if you do genuinely, if you are trying to make a living at it and you desperately want to put 2 videos a week, then you have to do 2 videos a week, and it's very hard to do that when you've got that sort of schedule.
You have to cut down on the production quality, Bruce. I think that's the only way you can do it, man.
And you've got to plan well in advance. I know what videos I'm making until this time next year. I've got them all in. I have flexibility.
That's crazy.
So if something crops up, like there's some amazing bike or some incredible offer comes my way, I can move things around. But if nothing untoward happens, I know exactly what I'm doing between now and this time next year. Jesus. 2 videos a week, non-stop. And I've got nearly 2 months of those already recorded.
Yeah, that's what you need, Bruce. You need those videos in the bag just to schedule,
get ahead of the game
and get them out. I mean, I'm the same. I'm video to video. I think I've got. I know I'm not quite as bad at the moment. I think I've got about 4 videos in the can, which I need to edit. But when a video's edited, it goes up. This is the next video. You know, I'm just a video behind. I can't seem to. Well, I've got a day job, so I've got an excuse, but I can't ever get ahead of myself.
The downside of it is you can't be dynamic and responsive to stuff that happened in the previous video.
Well, I think you had that tiger review and it was in the summer. Was it winter or something, wasn't it?
Well, I often get that. I have comments of saying, gosh, it's really cold around your pot.
Next minute, he's in the snow on his...
Exactly. The way I've got around with it, I do my monthly bike news thing, which is always topical because it has to be, around about the end of the month. So, in fact, all day today, I've been recording one that will go up on this coming Thursday. Yeah. So, which is a little bit out of sync. Normally, I would do it on the day, but I did it because I thought I was going to Toro next week, although that may now have changed. So that one, I can always say things that are topical, so it gives me a chance to do that.
Good idea,
Or the other thing to do is do the odd live stream, which I haven't done for a long time, but I was thinking of maybe doing some of them again because that gets you a bit more up to date with people.
Yeah, I never. I stopped doing I only tried the live streams a couple of times, but my internet was so bad. There was no point in doing it.
Upgrade your internet, Bruce. No excuse.
Well, I've got the EE mobile broadband now, and it's brilliant. Yeah, really good. So, not
the live streams were good. The live streams were good. I mean, I know the last one was at yours, Andy, and it was great fun. And I haven't done one for ages.
Yeah, technically we failed miserably, didn't we? But we had a right laugh, and it was the best. I had the most fun doing that. Yeah. I'm more than happy to do that again at any time at yours or Bruce's or whatever.
I think maybe a joint live stream would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Absolutely. They don't get many views, but they're fun to do.
No, yeah. Sometimes
we can actually get drunk together.
About having a bit of fun in it. You go.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Right, is there nothing from Richie?
I've got nothing from him. I don't know what he's doing.
I think he's been held up.
I'm going to have to go in a minute. I'll wait until I'm beckoned. I won't go until I'm beckoned.
Right, okay.
So I'll drag it out as long as I can.
Run to the wire.
How are you for time, Andy? Are you okay for time?
I'm great. Mrs. Flyer's out on a walking weekend, and the kids are out. Although I think somebody's just come.
Happy days.
All is well.
It's Richie.
Yeah. Right. Next question.
At your house.
Andy Horton. 3 questions. I think we covered this one. On a track day, if you all had the same bike, who would be fastest?
That's Andy, isn't it? It's Andy straight away.
Andy all day. Would Bruce ever consider shaving his beard off to give to Andy to make a hairpiece? If I shave this off, it's going to be for charity. It's the only time.
It'll be your own hairpiece, Bruce. If that comes
exactly. I've been bald. I've been bald since I was about 20.
Pubic hairpiece.
A merkin.
Yeah, exactly.
A merkin for Andy.
I'm more concerned that you know the name for it, John. Here we go. This has got Vegas's name all over it. If you were all single and out on the town, who would be who would be the first to pull? Andy.
Thank you.
I think so. I do think so. Yeah, I think it would.
Well, shall we do the comparison of our stats of female viewers? Is now the time to do that?
Yeah, go on then.
Go on then. Phone's out.
I'm not even sure I know where to look this up.
Yeah, of course you don't. You study it all the time. On our WhatsApp group, you're constantly telling us.
The amount of screenshots he's sending us is the amount of views.
Well, I found it once. Seriously, where do you find it?
Go into your main views.
Audience. Here we go.
Audience. So go on out. Mine's dropped, actually. I hate to say. Mine has dropped. I think it was the light lock video put them off.
Mine's gone through the roof. Wow. What's going on there?
No, you go first, because you were losing that. Yeah, you go, because you were behind last time we spoke.
I used to be like 0.1% female viewers. 2.3. Have that.
He's gone that.
Bruce. Well done.
I think yours is more. So I'll go next. Mine is 3.1% female viewers.
No one likes a show off.
Well, I don't like to tell you what mine is then.
Go on then.
Can you see that?
No, it's just a big bright thing.
Can't see anything.
3.6% female viewers.
It's the butt plug. The butt plug did it. That's what it was.
I love that sort of thing.
Jeez. Wow. Anyway, okay, that's that one done. Ollie Lawson. what's the most important thing that biking brings to your lives other than boring money via YouTube? Oh, Jesus. Mate, there is, Ollie, in the biking world, there is no money in YouTube itself.
I think, or in the biking world, full stop, actually, from what I can tell.
Yeah. I think for me, this is what biking, but it's the community, it's the crack, it's the social side that I love about biking, for me.
Yeah, I think there's so much. I mean, there's this, isn't it? I mean, in our cases, it's a bit special because we're YouTubers, so we have that amazing community aspect that you wouldn't normally get, but that is great. But for me, it's all sorts of things. I love the technology of the bike. I physically like mechanical things. I'm always impressed that an engine works. The fact that I can go uphill without pedaling, to this day, amazes me. I love that. The skill of riding a bike, okay, I'm not particularly skillful, but I enjoy the fact that, counter steering through corners and all that great stuff. I love the noise of it. I love the smells of the countryside, the fact it can take you places you wouldn't otherwise go. Yeah. The fact that you can appreciate the scenery around you more than any other form of transport, with the exception of flying. So there's a whole load of stuff there that I think it's just a great pursuit, and why more people don't do it, I just will never know.
No.
I'm into that.
Completely agree with what you've said there, basically. It's that freedom, isn't it? It's that freedom of being out on a bike and just you and the machine and the countryside, really. And, all of the technical elements of it, the riding skills, then the community, even if you don't, even just meeting at bike meets and chatting, even if you're not a YouTuber, just chatting to other people about their bikes, looking around the other bikes, seeing what mods people have done to their bikes. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah,
I love the fact that the world over, wherever you go, if you meet another biker, you've got that common interest and you can chat about stuff, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't even need to be another biker. Like people, I know, I'll mention it. I've ridden around the world, and people, when you're stopped, people would come up and chat to you, even if they don't ride, even if they don't have a motorbike. They see it, and even if you're not part of that little clique, that community, you see a bike and it represents so much to some people that they want to come over and they want to chat to you because you're so like unattainable almost. It's just like, oh, I want to be that. I want that.
The most I've seen that was a couple of weeks ago. We went out on the Triumph Rockets, me and my brother-in-law. The amount of people came over and started talking to us about the bikes, and I've never had that on a bike before. I know because there was two of them, but it's just so much attention those two bikes drew.
They're like caricature bikes, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And little kids going past going, oh, they're awesome. It's like, I've never had that before. It was
Harleys are like that.
Yeah, I'd imagine Harley's a bit like that.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? But I think you nailed it there, Andy. It's the caricature bike. It's the stereotypical bike. That's what people think of a lot of the time. That sometimes maybe sports bikes, I suppose. But yeah, those type of bikes are what people think of when they think of biking.
Or is it all in our heads? Because I do sometimes feel when I'm out on the very rare occasions I take my Panigale out for a spin to warm the oils up. When I stop for petrol, which is quite frequently, you can't help but feel super cool when cars pull up. And in your head, they're all looking at you thinking, "God, what a cool dude he is!" Until you take it out and then realise you're an old bald fella.
He's an accountant on a bike. What?
I'm going to have to go, chaps. I'm sorry. I'm going to draw it to a close. It's a shame.
It's always the same with you, John.
Well, at least I turned up, didn't I?
Well, exactly.
Like others.
John, thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate it.
We need to do something soon and meet up because this has been really good fun.
100%, 100%. And I like the idea of maybe doing something without the cameras as well, just so we can recharge the batteries a little bit.
Yeah, I'm completely up for that.
Folks,
appreciated.
If for whatever reason, folks, you've not checked out John's channel, which I can't believe, but head over to Lamb Chop Rides. Give him a subscribe, give him a follow, give him all the rest of it. That's it. Yeah. Links will all be down below. John, look after yourself, mate. Love to the family.
Take care.
Hey, John.
Take care, guys.
Right,
so
talk about
it. Time, Bruce?
I'm good as gold, mate. No problem with me, but I don't want to take up your time.
Well, I'm pretty good. It's just I'm worried about making me supper because I can hear my kids have just got home and I might be called soon to feed them. It's funny, kids like that. They need feeding, don't they? What is that about?
But they're about 40 now, aren't they?
Well, that's it. That's the thing. They're hardly kids. They're bloody 20, for God's sake. Anyway, actually, I should keep your voice together. They might be making my supper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's carry on for a bit and see if Vegas joins us.
How about we go another 15 minutes because that'll be 2.5 hours.
Oh, yeah. That's long enough for anyone, I think. Absolutely, go for it.
Right, where were we? Oh, Andrew Scott's got one here. Is this the first podcast where the interviewee actually knows the other vloggers when Bruce mentions them? I've had a few where we've chatted about other YouTubers, and the other people have just been like, "Who?
Blank.
What? Eh?" So we should.
It's hilarious, isn't it? When you're in this sort of YouTube-y world, we all sort of assume we all know each other, and in many cases we all do. But it doesn't overlap with other worlds, does it? So it cracks me up. I can't remember. I think I read in a comment, might have been on your Patreon page earlier today, when somebody suggested that you do a thing with Guy Martin. I think it was.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, these people clearly don't quite understand how this works. You just drop Guy Martin a phone call and say, "We'll be on my podcast."
I have been so fortunate with this because I mean the podcast it's not even a minnow, it's not even a tadpole, it's an amoeba in the sea of podcasts out there. But I've been so fortunate that just through various connections I've managed to get massive people, you know, the likes of all you guys. You're massive in the motovlogging world, but we're mates, so you can come on. Peter Hickman is through a mutual connection. I've got a potential guest coming on who is literally out of this world, and I only have that through a family connection, and it's just nuts that this opens up that avenue to you. Yeah.
The good thing is, though, I mean, a lot of I've listened to, I think, all your podcasts, and with this sunshine that's been going on, it's been fantastic sunbathing entertainment. In your
KTM, underpants.
Exactly. It's, I mean, otherwise 2.5 hours is quite a commitment, isn't it? But I've thoroughly enjoyed them. But you've introduced to me lots of people I'd never heard of. Cool. That to you are obviously massive people, but I hadn't heard of them. But now I have. So one of the ones I really enjoyed, for example, was the Paint Nation one.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I mean,
people haven't gone lovely geezer.
Well, yeah, great stuff. And now maybe want a customised helmet.
I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. Yeah, just I can't afford it at the moment, but I would love one. And he's actually starting to tentatively tip his toe into the vlogging sphere. So it'll be interesting to see because he's a really creative guy, obviously through the nature of the job that he does. And it'll be interesting to see what his vids are going to be like. Yeah. Anyway.
But it's interesting how sometimes there isn't the overlap. So as an example, I'm just wondering how much I want to say about this or not, but I'm tipping my toe into bike customization, let's say that, in the next few months. And but I'm technically inept, so I need to get a customizer involved. And you would not believe the trouble I've had getting somebody that was willing to work with me. Well, not work, just for me to pay them to customize my bike. And I said to them, is there any chance, we could do a bit of a deal? We can make a YouTube video out of this. And they were like, not interested. We've got our own PR. Why would we want to do that? So it's just, I'm thinking, this isn't quite what I thought it was going to be. So
I've just had the latest podcast to go out last week. The video goes out on Monday. Is a chap called Struan Ucher. Scottish guy, funnily enough, with a name like that, and his channel's called Remotorcycled, and that's exactly what he does. He's a mechanical engineer based up in Aberdeen, but he's a biker, and he just dipped his toe in one time. He thought, I want to make my own bike, and he literally entered the bike shed competition, with a proposal. Had no experience, got accepted in, and was like, shit, I need to make that bike. So he's documented his journey as he learns. He's basically learning to do it as he goes, and now he sort of produces it's pretty beautiful custom motorcycles.
Fantastic.
So that's what he does now.
To listen to that then. Is that out on Monday?
Well, the actual podcast is live now, the audio one, but the video goes out on Monday. Yeah.
Right. I'll look out for that then, because I think suddenly I might have time on my hands next week.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a little bit concerned about that because I'm supposed to be out.
I might be talking rubbish. It was a very garbled phone call from my missus saying I've just heard about quarantine, so who knows?
I've got nothing. There's nothing on Sky News or anything that's come up that I can see. I might
be talking rubbish.
Oh God, I hope not.
But she doesn't normally lie to me. Really?
Massive implications. That poor old Lyndon at Toro as well. Jeez.
I know. Just when things had started to open up again.
Yeah, but, definitely.
This whole Corona thing isn't over yet, is it? By a long chalk.
Sadly, I don't think so. I think there's going to be economically. I think the implications could go. Well, they definitely will go on for the next year or two ahead. Absolutely.
And the situation in the US is nuts, isn't it? It seems.
It's such a big place, though, isn't it?
It is, and I'm so looking forward to my trip next year. I so hope that doesn't get impacted.
Mate, Tell me after, because I'll tell you my plans if you tell me
I
yours.
thought I told you about it.
I can't remember, mate, to be honest. But anyway, we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that off here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Robert Forster, what would you all do if you ran out of questions? We'll just drink and take the piss out of each other.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we normally do. Steve Mason, big man, firstly, I want to thank each of you for keeping us entertained during the shit time. It really does help some of us get through the crap days. Well, thank you very much.
It's great to hear that, isn't it?
It is.
It's good.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, that's good.
Question
Our pleasure.
Well, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Question to us, to all of us. If you could wedgie any historical figure, who would you choose? Cheers, dude. God. Wedgie any historical figure.
Blimey.
Oh, Jesus.
that's a head scratcher, isn't it?
Yeah.
Blimey.
There's quite a few, really, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd stop at wedgie at quite a few of them, though. That's the only
No, in recent history, I think Theresa May would be quite fun. She deserves a damn good wedgie.
I genuinely thought there was an opportunity with her. I thought something might.
What? You're in? She fancied you?
No. I thought to myself, I hated Cameron. I don't like getting political, but we will. I hated Cameron. Hated him.
Right.
And
I just read his book. It was fascinating.
Is it?
It is very well worth a read.
Do you know you're not the first person to tell me that?
I was fascinated by it, and because he talks a lot about the inner workings of government and the sorts of things that you have to deal with as Prime Minister. Really opened my eyes to what a job and a half that is. And also, just hearing his views about Dominic Cummings, for example. But obviously, he wrote all that before the whole Cummings thing kicked off with Boris. And also his views on Boris, fascinating. And the whole Brexit thing. Really, no matter what side of the argument you sit on, it's a fascinating read, and I recommend it to the house, as they would say.
I might check that out then. Yeah, I've heard that from quite a few people.
If you don't like him, I think you'll like the book.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it from people who are anything but a Tory, and they've for whatever reason.
I don't regard myself as a Tory particularly, but I thoroughly enjoyed that book. It was great.
It's interesting that. Yeah, excuse me. With Theresa, I just sort of thought it's a change. It's something different, and she struck me as maybe just having a little bit more of a finger on the pulse, and she was the polar opposite. She just.
It was a disappointment, wasn't it? Yeah.
Anything. Right, wedgie.
But a thoroughly decent person, just powerless.
I think so, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Wedgie, a historical figure. There's quite a few I'd love to punch in the face or run over with a big truck. Wedgie in them, I can't think of anyone.
I'm not sure there's that much fun in wedging anyone, is there, really?
Nah, not really.
Have you ever wedged anyone?
Yes, I have, at school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Of course, you're a policeman. I should have known.
And to be honest, at work, yeah, as a policeman. But my colleagues, not members of the public, I'll hasten to add. Next one, Stephen Holmes. It comes across that you're all good mates. That aside, is there still a degree of friendly competition between you all? And do you share any tips or ideas to support each other's channel growth?
I wouldn't say it's friendly competition. Unfriendly competition. I rue the day I gave you all my secrets.
You haven't given us secrets. God. No, I think that's true, isn't it? We are good mates. We're lucky that we all seem to have got on very well. But there's definitely rivalry. Of course there is. You know, I think you've got to be competitive to be in this game.
Yeah, but it's friendly rivalry. I'm of the mindset of that there's plenty to go around, and I don't think that because somebody's a subscriber of you, it means they won't be of me. I'm more than happy to give you all my subscribers if I could. I don't think there's in that sense there's not. I mean, it's just fun, isn't it? It's friendly rivalry.
Absolutely,
to see
100%.
how that works. And anyway, I win all the time anyway. So
you are very. I would say you're probably the most competitive out of the four of us. Yeah, no, I would 100%. But that shows because you're the most successful out of the four of us, and I think you're not.
Depends how you measure success.
Well, this is true. Yeah, absolutely. But in terms of. Okay, let's go down the. What's the word I'm looking for? Jesus Christ, think smart. Oh God, what's the term for like you measure wealth and success through possessions and what's that term?
Materialistic.
Right. Okay. I don't mean that in a negative way, but certainly in a sort of physical materialistic sense, you're the most successful. You've got the most subscribers, you get the most views, you've got the beautiful house, you've got successful businesses under your belt. Do you know what I mean?
It's nothing to do with YouTube.
Well, of course it's not, but it's you as a person. You have put yourself in the position that you're in. And I'm envious of that, but I'm 100% appreciative of the commitment and the drive it takes to elevate yourself to that level. 100%.
That's very kind of you to say so.
But I've said that to you, I've said that to you more now that I've gone full time, and that I've got a much deeper appreciation for the work it takes to produce the content at the level you're not producing 3, 4, 5 vids a week like you were, but you're still producing. Even 2 vids a week is fucking hard work.
It is, because people don't. I think that the bit that people miss is the fact that often if you're in a normal job, you'd have holidays and stuff, wouldn't you? You don't when you're YouTubing, so you have to get ahead of the game. It's like I was talking about before. So you have to think, well, if I'm going to go on holiday for a couple of weeks in the summer with my family, a bit different this year, then I need at least 4 videos made and scheduled and uploaded, ready to go.
Yeah.
And then if you then get invited, I don't know, to go to Toro for a week, then that's another couple of videos you've got to get in the can. So now you're 6 ahead. And then something else crops up. You've got to take the kids to university or something, and I've got 2 kids. They both go. That's another week gone by the time I've packed and all that. That's another 2 vids I've got to do. So suddenly you've got to be 8 vids ahead just to be on target. So that's why I do mine so way in advance. I mean, once you get to that point, then it is manageable, but you do have to think a long way in advance. It kills the spontaneity, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, when we first met, and we talk about doing stuff, and you had that attitude where you were like, it's not worth my while. I've got this to do, I've got that to do. I'd need to do this, that, and I will admit, I did think to myself, that's a bit.
Tosser.
Not tosser, but I did think to myself, that's not. It's lost its fun there. It's lost its spontaneity. It's lost its. I don't know, like.
Well, it loses its spontaneity. It doesn't lose its fun, but it loses its spontaneity.
Yeah,
sure.
but I was like, these are opportunities to create content, to do stuff. Oh man, like I can't believe that you're thinking there's a negative side to this. Now I'm like, oh God, I get it. I totally get it now, because
I'm glad you got that.
It does impact, doesn't it? I can't wait.
It does.
I can't wait to go away on these trips.
When you first start out YouTube, and you've got a bit of a fear that you haven't got enough content to talk about. When I first started in 2008, when I first put my first video out, and I thought I'll do one every month or whatever. I used to do, a month would pass and I think, what on earth am I going to do for my next video? I haven't bought anything recently. I've got nothing new to review. I haven't ridden anywhere particularly. Yeah. And now I've got way more content that I can possibly do, that I'm turning stuff that sounds really good down. And it pains me, because you think these people think, well, why doesn't he possibly want to do that? What's the downside? Well, it's just time, and I've got so many other great things that I want to do. So it's a fascinating, it's a great problem to have. I'm not complaining by any means.
Of course it is. I mean, we're living the dream, aren't we? So it's you can't possibly. Well, you just can't take any of that for granted. But
no, indeed,
it's definitely a reality check. Mate, that's 5:30. Are you okay for time, or are you done?
I'm good, although I can hear some moaning going on, so maybe we should think about wrapping up. We've been on for 2.5.
We have, mate, yeah.
Beer as well, which is another reason to go.
I still got one can. No, I'm on my last can right now. We are halfway.
It's got dark whilst we've been talking. No,
we are halfway through the patron questions, so there's still.
We should do another one. We should do another one when Dickie Vegas is available.
Well, absolutely. I don't. See, with the podcasts, I don't want it to be a case of, right, I've had that one person on, so that's it, they're never coming on again. I don't want that. And I think for us, we've got such a good little thing going on amongst us that there's nothing wrong with us coming on every month or every couple of months.
I completely agree, and also we just couldn't manage to get together recently, have we? So this is a great way. We've had a few beers and a laugh. The fact that other people could join in, that's great.
Yeah, 100%. So there's plenty of questions there left to do more. People, thank you so much for putting your questions in, and I'm really sorry if we haven't got to your question. And if you're on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, I really do apologise we've not managed to get to them, but there is loads. Such a thank you for submitting them, but there's lots of questions there. Mate, I reckon we'll cut this now, and we'll do another one in a couple of months' time or something.
Works for me. Great talking to you, Bruce, as ever.
And you, bud. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. And again, folks, if for whatever reason you haven't checked out the Missenden Flyer, I can't believe that. But if you've not, there'll be links down below. Head on over, give them a subscribe, a follow, a like, all the rest of it.
Thank you, Bruce. See you soon.
All right, bud. You look after yourself, Andy. Cheers for now, pal.
Cheers.
Ta-ra, bye-bye. Folks, thank you so much for joining us again. Apologies if we've not got to your question. What more can I say? Thank you very much if you've got to the end of this vid. I really do appreciate it. I love all the comments and all the feedback and all the messages you're sending. I'm glad that the podcasts are helping out just now. Folks, as always, look after those that you love. Get on out there. Do your thing. Let's not live in fear just now. Most importantly, get on out there and live your life. Hoo-ha!